whatever is approved for steps and management. So that'll stay the same. Longevity is as it was or as it should be for staff members. Postage, I mean, we basically have the same kind of postage. We reduced we didn't reduce. I'm realizing that the cost of computers and computing equipment is going up. So we have gone down from before, so we may have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul in the future if we need to deal with computer equipment. This year was able to replace a computer that I had since I had been at the city. So I know that we're gonna have to go through some cycles but I think everyone else in the office has had new machines. So hopefully we can not have to worry about new computing equipment. Postage, we still have a lot, we send out information to those folks who have their exemptions and need to renew their exemptions. So we send out that. There's other requirements in terms of us sending out information to people about renewing exemptions, not just from the STAR program, but also other exemptions that we have. So that is a costly thing, but we didn't change it from last year because it generally stays the same. Administration expense. So that, I can't remember what that's generally paying for our access to GCAR, MLS, the multiple listing service, so that we can do our appraisals and things that we use for to value property. And also Siren, which is the commercial part of that. And then advertising, we haven't really the only thing we really need to do with advertising is put legal notices in the paper as per real property tax law. We need to let them know when we put the tentative rollout and when we put the final rollout. Doesn't really cost too much, so that's a limited expense. In-service training, so the appraiser in the office is required to have an appraisal license. And we pay for continuing education for her. I have an appraisal license and I have to stay certified with the state for continuing ed, so that it hasn't, it really hasn't changed. There wasn't anything that changed with that. We have to pay New York State for the privilege of using real property service, which is our RPS system. And they're in the process of changing that over, but they have told us that there is going to be no change in the amount of money that we have to pay. And it's based off parcel size or size of the municipality in terms of parcels. So that shouldn't change. We reduced a little bit of our supplies budget because we found that we're not, sometimes, well, now that we're ordering our paper from the state, we used to order paper through multiple departments, but we're ordering paper through Staples and it's a little cheaper now. And then the maintenance contracts, we got a new copy machine. We do a lot of copies when folks come in with their exemption applications. We give them a copy of their front page after we stamp it so that they have their receipt, is what we call it. And that's, it's been expensive with the new contract. The last one we had, we didn't pay. We just paid for maintenance, and then it just got to the point where it was too old, so we needed to purchase a new copy machine. And the Board of Assessment review, the salaries are going to remain the same. So there's really hasn't been too much. I think the most increase has been with salaries based on steps for union employees, and then whatever management long happens. So. Any questions?
Questions? Go ahead, please.
So the real property appraiser, so is that who does like appraisals for us? Like, because I know we talked about,
that person
tax
focuses on commercial, or excuse me, focuses on residential appraising, and then I deal with the commercial stuff.
Any other questions?
Is that somebody who's going to answer?
Yeah, my question was along the line. I know we had conversations around expenses that could potentially cost the city if we had to get the appraisal done. And
Yeah,
So
so
I was
it's a little, when we have to go like for a tax cert, for instance.
sure,
We need a trial ready appraisal, which is not something that we should provide in-house, it's something that we need to hire out for.
for having like the separation, okay.
Yeah, because in real property tax law, what's on the books for the assessment office is supposed to be what's legally acceptable. And then if you need to prove otherwise, you know, petitioner has to come in and say, we should provide. We have to provide a,
That makes sense to me.
something outside of that.
Thank you.
Any other question? Seeing none, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Of course.
The Board of Assessment,
Oh, yeah.
there was no change there. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No change in
No
that,
change there.
they're still, you know, are receiving the same, payment they've received for, as long as I've been here.
We have known over the years that the attendance, how did you see attendance from this board last year?
It was very good.
Very good.
Yeah, you know, I think if there's anything to question, it's that we don't have the volume. And I don't know the history because I wasn't here for the last readout, but we don't know the volume of things that they had to deal with before. I just know the volume now has gone down. So, but if we enter into some kind of revaluation in the future, they're going to earn their wages, earn their money. So that's, I mean, I think that's something to think about in terms of keeping it, particularly if we're looking in the near future for these things.
Go ahead.
I have a question about that, but I think it might be more for the commissioner. Do we pay them at the end of the year or something? Like, why have we not?
What's that? Sorry.
The board.
Board of Assessment review.
They've all been
It's usually
paid.
once a year.
Yeah,
Once a year?
As soon as they're finished with their contractual, you know, their, what they have to do. So as soon as they're finished with, as soon as our board chair signs off on all the letters, that's when I release the payment and I give, the vouchers to the finance office.
And that typically in May, June.
No, that's, yes, at the end, it's typically before July 1st. Because everything has to be out July 1st, so everything has to be signed off on by that point.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other question? All right, seeing none, thank you.
Excellent.
We will go into the clerk's office, and that is on the bottom of page 80.
Page 814, county clerk's office has increased by 5.55% from the year in 2000, approximately the year in 2000. With an increase of approximately 17,000.
If I could, just want to walk us through what's happening here.
Okay, the only salary increase that's a little different is the deputy registrar, who is, of course, the deputy that's vital records. Her salary with the regular management increase would be below the IPS 3, who she manages. So her increase was a little higher than, you know, than everyone else's, which doesn't fall in line. We have a slight reduction in supplies and postage. I think we can find a year to date with that, it should be okay. Travel conferences, we haven't had in a while, and in-service training, that's still the same, although last month there was a conference training that I wanted to go to, but we just didn't have enough in the budget for it.
So this is just like, I'm sorry, so we're
Go ahead, please.
so this is just like something that would not cover the cost to go to.
No,
Yeah, you're right, especially if there's travel beyond local, okay.
Any question from Ms. Michael? Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. So the clerical aid is a 12% increase. Can you explain why that was again?
the IPS, for the clerical aid, That's union, so the IPS 3 and the clerical aid, they're both union positions, so that goes in line with the contract.
And does that include a step increase here?
Might
27
include
to
a step
42?
increase, yes.
Okay. Any other question? Seeing none, we're good, thank you. We'll go into code enforcement, and that is on the bottom of page 59 into 60. Commissioner?
The code enforcement decreased by 11.89% from 1.4 million approximately to 1.2 million. 173,000 decrease.
Do you need this? Hold on.
You finished with it?
Yes.
Okay, please walk us through any significant changes within your department budget.
So, I'll start with staffing. So, we made some significant changes for staffing. We've, lowered the code enforcement. First of all, no proposed changes or requests for, salaries. Just the estimated 3% increase for raises for management and, across the board for the department. So, we have eliminated 2 positions for code enforcement officers and, also for administrative staff, we have eliminated the clerk position. So, the electrical inspector has went from full-time to a part-time position. I don't know if that's reflecting in an update. I'm not looking at what you're looking at.
It's not built.
It's not.
It doesn't matter.
So, we're proposing to go to a part-time position for the electrical inspector at a $35,000 salary. If that's been updated or should be updated.
No, it's not updated as a proposal, and we'll get a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Now, this was after the budget was put together.
Yes. So, I'm proposing to put that 35,000 back into the electrical inspector, part-time position there. That'll be split, so we'll have a part-time position for the electrical inspector and leading on third-party services to make up the difference there. Make sure we can cover our services.
What is the amount that you'd like to return to the budget?
35,000,
35 even?
yes.
And where would that, so that would be, would that go under, the part-time?
Electrical inspector, top of
Right, no, I
page,
got
that's
that.
it.
Yeah,
I mean-
page 60, fourth column, or, yeah, fourth column, then.
So just leave it in at 75,000 one.
No. 35 this year. No.
Right, but,
Zero.
It's zeroed out.
The
Oh.
problem with
Gotcha.
that position
I've got it.
is hiring an individual who is a retired city firefighter. Has a certification, he's a teacher, Hudson Valley. Great guy. But because he is retired and under the age of 65, he is limited to earning only $35,000 a year. I thought that it might resolve itself. Kind of Civil Service Commission gave a test for the electrical inspector. He is the only person that took it, the only person that passed it. So I can only hire him for 35,000. There's some indication this past budget year going in that the state was going to raise that amount that individuals could make as retirees. But it's still at 35,000, so we're somewhat at a quandary where I'd like him to be here full-time, but we can't pay him full-time salary. And it worked it, so if he worked for a while at the 35,000, then now it's working, say, outside contractor. We brought a group in to do the electrical inspecting, so it's a less than optimal scenario. It's the reality of recruitment and getting people that meet the technical background.
So Mayor, how is that third party inspection going?
Good. He's doing an inspection.
So individual pay for third party inspection, and then our inspector will do it?
Correct.
Go ahead, please.
No, I was asking for clarification. So what did we spend last year on this particular salary line? It was 75,000 last year.
It was, very close to 75,000. I don't have the exact figure in front of me, but yes, you're very close to. And yeah,
So last year he was able to earn the full salary while you're working through this process?
he came on board with the city midway through the year.
Mhm.
So he didn't reach that threshold, that conflicted with his retirement.
Mhm.
So, when that threshold was getting close to where we made some changes.
So we didn't spend 55,000 last year because he only earned 35.
There's somebody in the position who retired, left, but he was paid for the remainder of the year to roughly 35,000. So the expenditure on that line was close to the budget.
Go ahead, please.
Nancy, you said earlier that there were no budget increases beyond the 3%.
Correct.
With the code enforcement supervisor, an increase of plus $3,000. Didn't know if you had explanation for that. That clearly exceeds the. That should be different with
Yeah, that-
how these fires from that high raise. And then follow-up question, Mr. Moving. Seeking clarification of one of the questions I've had regarding the code enforcement officers. My understanding, those are revenue generating positions, and as compliance enforcement officers in the past, you've talked about some of the difficulties with training individuals in this profession and how it requires a steep learning curve. But I wanted to know, were these reductions related to the revenue reductions with respect to like the building permits?
Well, historically, I'm aware that, while we have 12 positions budgeted, we have never had them filled. And I believe with the town officers, we can provide professional services from the city to the public with no problem with the 12 positions.
So then just to follow up to that, sorry,
Yes.
those additional 2 positions, were they never sought to be filled, or what was the discrepancy in not pursuing them?
They haven't been filled since I've been with the city, and, I'm aware that they weren't filled even close to when I came on board. So I came on board with 10 officers, and, I can't speak for, the exact situation leading up to, me coming on board with the city, but, I don't believe they've ever been filled.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Amanda.
So, you budgeted for 10, how many are currently filled right now?
5 right now.
So right now, we only have 5.
We have 5 so
Currently have 5, and how long has it been at 5?
actually, today's the first day with 5.
Okay, how many was it before that?
Before,
Like, okay,
before today,
so did 5 bring you up, did 5 take you down?
5 brought us up. So we had 2 officers become certified today.
So before that, you had 3
Yeah, we have,
today?
yep, 3 certified officers, 3 certified management. So 6 working certified officers. And,
All right, just for a little more clarity. So you had 5, but did the 3 management actually go out into the field, or was that more?
we have, since we've been struggling with, staffing, and we've been having a little bit of a shorting staff, shortage there, we have been working the field more. And now with the 2 officers, becoming certified today, we virtually, doubled our field staff.
I was looking at the, revenue today from the year-to-date budget reports, and we're down, in, the fees, the permit fees. And I was just wondering if you had any idea on why we're not bringing in that revenue. I'm not sure if you can answer that, or if there's just less going on, or.
Can you share the line?
Yeah,
that you're looking
I don't know if you have this, but I'll show you here on the. I'll just, it's
Call the
for
A number,
everybody
call
else.
the A number of the number.
Yeah, for
figure it
everybody
out.
else, it's, and I think Mr. Williams was starting to allude to this maybe, but it was 2501. It's really B through D, I think, but the more significant decreases are in the plumbing permit fee, I mean, in terms of what we were expecting for revenue, okay? Let's see, that was plumbing permit, electrical permits, and rental certificate fees here, I'll show you.
Okay.
So start with these boxes.
Yeah, I can look at it from-
See what everything's boxes on that.
So the plumbing permit fee, while we do work hand in hand with plumbing, it does reside in the water department. It's in that budget, so I won't speak on that. I think
Okay.
it's more appropriate for OGS and the water department to speak on the plumbing.
Okay.
The other permit fees, I think the biggest one would be,
Electrical went down by 70,000.
I think it might be related to, it could be related to trends, so there might not be as much work going on in the field this year as opposed to last year, and,
So it's the event center along our.
so we did have some large projects that, were permitted last year, and they were significant. They were, hundreds of thousands of dollars in permit fees, so that could have affected us significantly.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Trincy, do you have any, anyone in queue bringing up, to replace to up your 5?
So it is a priority to fill those spots, and I'm looking for good qualified candidates, and, we're having a little bit of a challenge in finding qualified candidates.
Realizing there's a hiring freeze, I just wondered if you have someone that was already in training at this point, so that you're constantly looking.
No, so we are constantly interviewing, and I don't have anybody in training now.
Okay.
Reviewing applications, and it's a high priority to fill those positions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Liz.
Thank you. So, you talked about the plumbing permit fees, but, there's really no change in that. There's actually a plumbing licensing fee. Is that also, it's a couple grand. Is that also something that would be, okay, I'm sorry, I should say, it's A2501E. And it just went down, So that's not your item?
Similar situation, yeah, that belongs in the water department.
Are there any other questions?
Yes,
Go ahead.
so it's kind of going back to the electrical inspector, at having to cut his salary in half because he's not able to make, over 35 grand. So the remainder of that comes out of fees for services, correct?
I don't believe so,
So where does that come?
so the third party will charge a fee for the inspections that are done through that third party firm.
Hold on, so the third party firm charges who for the,
The applicant, the permit holder.
and who's the third party that we're using right now? It's not him, right?
Middle department, inspection agency, MDIA.
Okay.
So I do have a question about the stop work order fees. I think not, we may have had a big discussion. So there's a charge for the stop work order. And then there's another $75 charge to go along with that, which is,
So an administrative fee is for any violation that's issued.
so that's a 75.
$75 an administrative fee, yes.
And then once the person actually comes and gets the permit, they're charged twice for that permit.
There is there's a double permit fee for a stop work order.
Even though so they're getting penalized twice then. They're getting penalized with the 500 for the stop work order and then penalized by making them pay the permit twice.
Yeah, so this is nothing new. More than many, it's a large percentage of municipalities handle that situation the same way. And that is what's set up in Schenectady, and it's been set up long before I've been here.
Well, this brought to my attention recently because somebody came with a bill and said they charged me twice for the same thing. I never had a personal experience, so that's why I'm bringing it here, because I did not know that was the case.
So that's in the ordinance that when there's a stop work order issue, there's double permit fees. So all permit fees are doubled when there's a stop work order issued.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
So just for a little clarity on this, so the third party inspector charges the applicant. So, and when this gentleman's under his $35,000 threshold, then that money comes into the city as revenue, correct? Or how does this work?
The application fee goes into the city for, yes.
Mhm. And when we have to outsource it, whoever we outsource it to.
So when we do outsource it, inspection fees are charged.
So the city does not charge, when we're outsourcing it to the third party currently, we do not charge the homeowner or the contractor a fee.
Yes.
So that fee is paid directly
To
to the third party.
yes.
So we don't generate no revenue
Yes.
to offset that electrical inspection.
That's what I'm saying.
Is the permit fee, not the inspection.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to ask a question, because people are still paying a fee for electrical permit. So if we're collecting a fee for that electrical permit, then why do they have to pay the third party? They're double paying for the service, same service.
They want if we've paid, if they paid the city for that. There was some reason the transition where the MDI was billing the city for the work that they were providing.
So then why are we charging them that efficient fee when they have to go into with the third party to administer the work?
You have to pay the permit fee no matter what to get the permit.
Mhm.
If you pay the inspector directly, you don't pay the city. If it's billed to the city, then they're paying at the city. So we're paying MDI.
So a homeowner can go directly to this agency for the permit, for the inspection,
For the inspection, not a permit.
not the permit. Now I'm trying to get to the fee because people are being charged for the application, the permit fees, whatever we want to call it, and then they have to pay the third party also.
So there are inspection fees that would, when the city's handling the inspections, there are inspection fees that are included. They're above and beyond the permit fee, the application fee, if you will. Application fee and the permit fee are separate from the inspection fee.
So we're saying that we only charge in the application fee
Yes,
and not the fee associated with the work, what we call cost of work fee. And then the rest go to the third party. So the third party is charging for the cost of work and we are just charging for the application fee, that's 75, whatever that fee is. I think it's more than that. $75. So if I were to come to pull a permit for electrical permit to the city, I'm paying $75.
Yes, sir.
And then the third party, I have to pay the third party for whatever inspection
Yes,
should
sir.
be carried out at that premises.
Yes, sir.
If there's something that you think is inconsistent with that,
I'm gonna ask for a report on that, because I've been getting a lot of complaint about people are paying the city. I don't wanna verify it, but since we're talking about it, I was gonna bring it up, I was gonna put it in I have a document here to send my question in. I wanted to see how much in the last 6 months or a year, how much, 6 months, because this only happened a couple of months ago. How much homeowner or contractor have been paid to the city for electrical work via cost of work and application fee, and how much was paid, or how much work was done by the third party. Go ahead, please.
And so, and my original earlier question was, do we pay out of fees for service to that third party? And you said, no, we don't pay out of service for the third party. So my question is, but the mayor was saying that this third party will build the city, right? They bill us. But, so if they're billing us, my question is, if they're billing us for providing a service, and then we're paying them for the service, but then the homeowner or contractor is also paying them. That's what I'm trying, that's where it's just, and I have a pretty limited scope here, so that's why I'm asking these questions. I appreciate you, Congressman.
transition when he went from being a city employee to no longer work here, wanted to keep him because of his skill.
That makes sense. Right.
So there was some in the middle there where he started some of the inspections are more simple.
Mhm.
Like one inspection, other projects where there may be multiple inspections.
So for instance, there was a transition period, like Mayor McCarthy said, where there was open permits and fees were already paid to the city. Okay, and so to close those out, of course, the third party firm wasn't getting paid. So until those permits were closed out, and they were all new permits where we didn't charge these inspection fees, we were paying fees for services in the beginning of the transition period. Now, when that work was closed out, and now these are new permits without us charging inspection fees, we are not paying for MDIA service. The applicant is paying for their inspections, and they do not charge the city for that. The applicants are paying for their inspections, similar to them paying the city.
And the applicants are paying the same, I guess it would be on the same pricing scale that the city uses?
It's
Right.
very similar.
Okay.
The bottom line would be very similar to the applicant.
So you mentioned just now that we had, in this transition happened, that there were some old permits that the homeowner or the contractor paid to get this work done. But we could have done the inspection in-house, so we had to refer them to the third party. So since that happened, did we reimburse them for the cost of work fee? Not the application fee, the cost of work fee, because they had to hire the third party.
I don't think anybody hired somebody, it was done through.
Because we have old permits that was just mentioned.
So they didn't have,
It's not old, they're open.
Open, yes.
so the open permits, they didn't pay twice. So they didn't have to pay MDIA for that.
John, if you have there's some question about it, but
May I reach out to you and several of the contractor wanted a meeting with you and you says no. And that's why I'm bringing this up and I'm vocal about this department and things like
so
that.
you gotta give me specifics.
I did give you specific and they asked to meet with you and you says no. Are there any other questions? Go ahead.
So I just want to get clear, because we keep talking about the different ones. So 8664404 fiat fee for services is MDIA.
So it is not MDIA. So fees for service is services code enforcement uses. It could be an engineering firm. It's our process server for serving for appearance tickets. It is car washes for that matter. It is it's fees for services in general. We use it for any fees for services in code enforcement.
So where are they getting paid from?
Go ahead, you had it.
I do, back up on, code enforcement clerk. So that's a position that's not going to be refilled.
I'm proposing to eliminate that position.
Okay, I'm sorry, you probably said that, I missed it.
No problem.
That was,
Are there any other questions? Go ahead, please.
So, you're proposing to eliminate, what are the, first of all, is it currently filled?
It's not.
And what are the responsibilities of that particular position?
So it's a very entry level position. It's virtually answering phones and filing.
All important tasks.
Yes,
So where is that work being currently, it's not filled right now?
It's
So
not.
that work is being done by one of the other positions that we currently have filled?
it's being split up amongst administrative staff.
So when we had last year's budget, was there somebody in that position last year?
There was, I don't remember the chronology of what happened with that position. We did hire, this year, and we had that position filled briefly. And that person, is now in the IPS 3 position.
Mr. Fowler, you had it.
So where does MDIA get paid from? Where does MDIA get paid from?
So in the brief transition, they got paid from, they are getting paid, I believe this will be the last invoice that we received from them, from fees for service. But that line doesn't belong to MDIA. in
It's for
general.
any fees or
It's
service.
for many different services.
So there's a breakdown of what MBA gets in car washes, so there's a breakdown of what's paid out of that line, if you gotta find that out.
Yes.
I do have one more question. So so you also, info processing specialty 3, you had 2, now you're going down to 1.
Yes. Proposing to, turn one into an IPS 4.
Okay, so going from 1 IPS 4 to 2,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for your time. That's. Okay, let's do central data processing, page 28, and then we'll go into engineering. That is page 28, the bottom section.
Central data processing, page 28 is 1680. Total communications increased by 8.26%, 835,000 to 903,000, approximately a 69,000 increase.
So you're dropping, I'm just going to give us an overview of the department, anything that you need to know about, and then we'll ask open for questions.
Okay, yeah, so most of these increases we have is from, input services, we, consolidated some of the line items, which was, in different departments. But it, it fix, website management, and all those things were paying from different departments. And equipment also, So they put that in my budget. So that's what the amount increase.
Question, go ahead, please.
Yes, so under the administrative salaries, 81680 100. So we've had an IT specialist webmaster, and now they're being moved to the junior network administrator, so it looks like we've done away with that one on the webmaster, added the administrator at the same salary.
Yeah, so what happened was, the IT specialist, webmaster person was there, but the individual, he, missed to take the exam, so civil service asked us to drop him down or put him on another position. So we made him a PC support specialist. But this individual has a higher skill than that, so I'm trying to bring him to the other position again in next year. At a little bit higher, value than PC support specialist.
So are you saying that you're moving them to the junior network administrator, that what you're doing?
Yeah.
However, there's no increase in salary for that individual.
Yeah, I do see that, so, I thought there was a little bit increase on that, so if we can increase $5,000 difference of PC support to this position, that would be good. I think we may have that, so.
That's Mr. Dewey.
So they're currently in this, support specialist role. So they will be receiving an increase, the junior network administrator position of $66,950. That we divide the 187 by 3, it's less than that, amount for the administrator.
Sorry, please.
So you talked about how you are reducing or adjusting this role within your department. And the way in which you did that, just a clear question of, can you talk about HR's involvement in that process? Or are these sincerely just your internal recommendations of how to capture their skill set at the right compensation level?
Yeah, so actually we have 3 positions before the PC support specialist and one with the IP webmaster, which was in early 2024. That position was there, but the individual he left the position in the middle of the year. So I got the individual for that position, he had that skill set to do it. But he was supposed to take the civil service exam, which missed. So we had the letter from civil service to drop him off on the position. So we had to take him off and put him on the PC support because there was open position at the time. So this year I managed to fill that position, PC support 3. Right now there are 4 individuals on that. I'm gonna move that individual to this new position.
I see.
Okay.
The stipend, for 3,000 proposed, it hasn't been proposed, hasn't been before. Is that for you getting up in the middle of the night and going to your computer to save us? Gratefully so. Would that be payable for you? That's line,
Derek, you can also help.
The stipend, I believe that is for, the chief technology officer.
Okay.
didn't even know anything.
Yeah, I didn't forget. I'm just asking because the assessor was just here and last year we had allocated $60,000 to upgrade all the machines. And how are you with that in terms of upgrading all the machine across all the departments?
Appreciate you giving that, so that helped a lot. So we are 60-70% done replacing the machine, and because of that, like, we don't have the all fully staffed, and like like IT goes, like there is not enough time every day to do like something we go do something comes up, right? So because my guys still try to accomplish those jobs, so we have 70% done. And yeah, but the funding you allocated, that will suffice to replace all those machines which we talked about.
And you're on pace to get that done
Yes,
before the end of this year?
Before end of this month.
This month?
Yes.
No, please, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that we have updated technology, because
Yes.
cybersecurity and things that we, it's good to have, weak machine.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
that helped a lot.
Go ahead, please.
So the largest budget line, and if you said this, I'm sorry, your largest budget line is a 1680404 fees for service.
Yeah.
That's your largest budget line, and there's been a somewhat of an increase there.
Yeah, and those increases are mostly, like I said, the budget line, which was in different department before.
Was it all here?
It is in here. So like the
Civic
fix, civil,
Okay.
civic plus for the websites. And also we got this mobile device management, which is for the protection of the, mobile devices within our organization, cell phone or tablets, those things. So that we done this year, that is also in that budget. And also we got this email filtering solution, which is also put on.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Email filtering solutions. So, spam filtering, say those things we acquired this year.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thank you for what you're doing and your staff.
All right,
Keep us safe. All right. Mr. Wallen. And that will be page 22.
Public Works, Public Works admin, $1440, increased by 11.93%, from 891,000 to approximately 225,000, a 34,745 increase.
Oh, I thank you for bringing that to my attention. Capital budget.
What's happening?
Finish with it. IT. Really like, so, IT, utility, IT is capital.
Sort of like talked about.
Yeah. So if you can just walk us through, that is the capital budget, under utilities and IT. Sorry. I don't think whoever wants to take.
It's on page 91.
Smart node.
Under capital budget.
That's all for utilities.
Oh, that's the utilities, okay, so then you're good, you're good, thank you. We'll get you then, we'll get you. All right, sorry for that. Page 22. Commissioner, walk us through the department and then we'll hand it over to Mr. Wallen and then.
Just a brief, A1440 Public Works admin, increased by 1.93%, approximately a $35,000 increase.
All right, since you have multiple departments here, we'll just go through them individually. Public Works admin, want to walk us through there, anything that's significant, change or increase that we need to know about?
No, so I have two IPSs in my department for myself, so what I gave out was the budget package, I put it together. This summary of the department, how it's made up. You guys over here in lieu of a presentation. So in this, there isn't any, I went through it before, there isn't any changes in 1440 above what I had proposed originally. But I don't see anything there. If there's any questions, so I can just tell you that 1440 is the two sections I have, IPSs, then we have our longevity, then we go through as we get into the 401, 400 items that are posted. We still have some posted, it's not as much as it used to be, everything being digital. Administrative expenses, those are my license renewals, and I go to a conference every year at NICOM, so we can pay for that through there. It's relatively affordable conference. And then what we have is leases, Xerox, ArcGIS, Civil 3D. So those leases that we have under the fees for services. Then I have city phone expense, supplies, which boil down really department overhead, papers, pens, $1,200, and then maintenance contracts. And maintenance contracts are actually city contracts that are paid for. So we have an MOU with the CDTA for $25,000 for ride share. We have an easement with Amtrak for public infrastructure. And we have, infrastructure, we have DOT attraction signs, if you see on 890, say, welcome Central Park. And then we have an agreement with CP Rail, for the lights on the bridge over here. So that's all in there, those are all kind of contractual, every year with an invoice, they pay for it out of there. So 1440 is pretty much set, it's not a.
Any questions on this section? Go ahead, please.
Under, administration 100 info processing software is 3. So there's like a 22% raise, is that $10,000?
That's CSCA.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is, under 1444 fees for services. What brand or something?
Yeah, that was just an adjustment. We were actually having to do budget adjustments at some point. So the Xerox license is over 2,500. I have an ArcGIS license that's 5,000, Civil 3D license that's 5. So we're just making a correction for it to make sure that we cover it.
Any questions? Go ahead, please.
So I don't have the year-to-date from me, but so last year we adopted was 7,500. And so you said that you went over that, so then we just adjusting to more.
Correct.
What it should be.
Yeah, if you see the 2024 actual expenses, they're $20,000.
Wow.
So we're trying to correct it. It's just to make sure everything's representative correctly.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other question on this section? Seeing none, we'll move to page 23, engineering, construction and design. Commissioner?
So page 23, A1441, total increase of 19.1%, estimated 33,000 increase.
Sure. So here we have, assistant to the city engineer. This is a position that was previously held by Gary Fowler, who retired. It's a position that I like to have as it does not require a PE. The PE is a difficult thing to hire for because you either have someone who's experienced who would want more than 95 or inexperienced who may want credit and doesn't have a PD. So that kind of gives us some flexibility. Also, it's at a salary where if we wanted to change that title in the future to something that comes to council, at least it's budgeted. If we wanted to do something like, but before I had him here, you'll see in my notes, we talked about senior engineering technician. You know, Mr. Williams, I saw your comment about, you know, hiring an engineer. One of the things that we're struggling with in engineering is we're in like this middle ground. A junior engineer, if you hire a junior engineer, I started as a junior engineer. And if you hire a junior engineer who wants to be a PE, we don't offer enough design experience to get your PE. So for instance, I left for 4 years, I got my PE and I came back. So I don't see it being a long-term position to hire someone who really wants to earn their PE. So then we were trying to find people with a technical background, someone that, you know, has a background in construction and management, which is really the majority of what we do, that we could bring in, would want a PE. And that's where we were looking at a senior engineering tech at one point, which was in my notes. But the assistant to the city engineer, we felt that that's a better fit because it's budgeted a little higher than senior engineering tech, and also like skin doesn't require PE. So, and then just to, be clear on this as well, what's not represented here, and I also have in my notes, is the stormwater control officer. One of the things that I talked about at a council meeting when I did an update was the importance of the city being prepared for all the MS4 requirements and all the reporting and inspections that go along with that. Right now, we're using a third-party engineering firm, PT Mail, to review and handle all of it. It's a large administrative lift to keep in compliance. So that position is in the the sewer budget. I would wholeheartedly recommend that it remain there. So while you're only seeing the assistant to city engineer remaining here, that position would most likely be put into engineering's office and they would work with me. So that would be an extra body as well. And like I said, in my narrative, it talks about we have a setup now for seven people. This would budget the office at 6, whereas right now I have 4 full-time. So, while it's great to say it'd be nice to have a 7 full staff, having 2 more people focused on engineering, that would be huge for the department, so I don't want to go too much outside that. If we can fill in the MS4 officer requirement, stormwater, and then find a replacement for Mr. Rafalo, I think that would give us a lot of help and redundancy. The hard part, though, to your point, is if I'm not here, that kind of dependency on me as the engineer, and I don't know that there is a chance that we could find someone, but I'm not, we've been looking for engineers for 13 years. And it's not that we haven't advertised, we advertised quite a bit, it's just hard to put in for an engineer when there's so much competition out there between private and state. So I'm, like I said, I guess it's a long-winded way of saying I'm comfortable with this budget, given that the MS4 stormwater control officer stay, because that would be someone that would really help me out with a lot of the workload that's coming.
So, Chris, you still use a consultant to help you with projects?
Oh, yes, so I have, I started 5 years ago, I started doing term agreements. So I have a term agreement with almost 10 private firms. And the term agreements allow us to kind of backfill professional services that we need. So whenever there's something that comes up, be it an emergency or a project that's under a certain amount, I need professional services, and one of them is CPML and MS4. And I think that will always be the case because we just don't have, even myself, I don't have the time or the expertise to do a wide range of projects that we do in engineering. We have on our term agreements, architects, traffic engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, because remember, it's not only roads, but we do all the buildings and facilities. So we have a lot of people that we rely on to keep everything together.
So with these consultants on board and with the staffing that you currently have, you're able to keep level with all the projects that you have currently on?
Next year will be an exceptionally busy year because it'll essentially be the end of a big jump, right? The ARPA money is kind of run out, right? So those projects are done. But next year we're gonna have the DRI money, that all money is being spent next year on some of those projects. So that's around $6 million in DRI. And then we got Craig Street, which is being bid at the end of the year. And that's a $13 million project. So that's bigger than your Boulevard. Now I'm gonna have support because those projects do allow me to hire construction inspectors, but still there's a lot. So this will be an extremely busy year with those projects. We always have the paving project going on. And then after that, really the largest project after that is going to be Crane Street Bridge. And that is just going to be a long, that will be very isolated, but it does have an impact on people.
Talking about paving, I want to commend you publicly for Central Parkway. Well done.
Definitely.
And homeowners are really appreciated. Some complaints that we have to address with you, but I think it's minor that myself and Patrick, but I don't think it's a big of a deal, but we'll address with you.
Okay.
But I want to thank you for that leadership in bringing that project to where it is successful. And after so many years of planning back and forth, COVID is there, people like that.
Well, I also have been meaning to email you over the last few days to thank you for Union Street, which also is just beautiful. Although I have gotten one complaint that it's hard to stay at 25 now on Union Street because
Going down to
before you had to avoid all the potholes and now you can just, zoom up Union Street. So that's a good problem to have, but I've been meaning to thank you and write to you over the last few days and I just.
It's what you mean, I think we can discuss it. It has to do with the island. What happened to the stone and
The establishment of turf.
Yeah, they kind of dump it in, and it's something that can be addressed or
Yes.
removed.
Yeah, we're gonna be addressing it now that it's turf season. We're also, we kind of were waiting. If you notice, the old light poles are still in place.
Yeah.
National Grid has to remove those themselves. So I literally have it on my desk. I got it yesterday, an agreement from National Grid. They're gonna come and remove those. They're gonna have to remove the poles and the foundations and then, when that project ended, it was in the middle of the biggest heat wave that we had. So planting the grass, all you had to establish was essentially weed. So we are gonna have to go back through and do that. Now's a good time. We're doing, we did Ground Park, so now's a good time.
So I think we preempted because we did told them, but you're not gonna leave it perfect like that.
No,
We did, because we have known you over the years to not do things like that. So we did make that very clear to them that you are more than likely coming back to take care of that.
waiting for the place.
And then we did mention them about the international good.
And the lights came out great.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just gonna also say, in looking over, the purchase orders, summary, well, detail, actually, that we received, I think today, maybe yesterday, I can't remember. I was noticing just how many different firms you do have to interact with because of the various consultants. So, I can imagine that that's complex also. So I think, again, to add to what Mr. Mudavern is saying, it's great that you have, you have very strong relationships with these various.
That was the point of this sheet. You
Yeah.
know, it was a sheet that I included in the package just to show the amount of agency internally, externally that the Department of Engineering is the lead on. When we work with someone, because that's the thing is that we're summarizing saying residents, residents, there's 66,000 of them. And then we have this is just a current snapshot of who, because it does rotate. But, without the consultants and contractors, we couldn't do it. And I also have Steve Crusoe back, which is gonna help part time. So Steve, 30+ years experience with the city.
Great,
Go ahead.
thank you. Mr. Ronald, when does the paving schedule come out for 2026? I'm anticipating doing some more roads off of Union Street.
We're working on the paving schedule now.
Yeah.
I don't have it developed now. Usually we don't bother having, we don't have it all together until February.
Okay.
But we had an internal meeting, we're starting to look. I know one of the big roads we're looking at this year is Crane Street. In anticipation of doing the bridge over, but we thought that we could get that. And I can look at some roads off the Union, but we're really always trying to focus on the main lines.
Great.
That's what I drove Crane Street looking at the bridge, and I'm like, yeah, it's time for this.
Yeah.
We also tried to partner. If you noticed, we worked with the Schenectady City School District. We did the roads around the Steinmetz Academy. They were very cool about that. We did the roads around Mount Pleasant. We're also next year, the mayor's sign off might be a minorly different paving year. We're looking to try to do some of my larger nuisance projects. So we have some areas like in front of by Mount Pleasant and tennis courts. There's an area there where we have a triangle. We're looking at redoing that. We've had some accidents in that area, and we're looking to reconfigure the roads there. We also have some areas that are concrete roads, specifically Michigan Avenue and Altamont Avenue by 890. It's concrete roads that are in rough shape, and we're looking to do Gulf Road. Added an official turn lane at the crosstown right now. It's kind of 1.5 lanes. It's a little tricky there. We have a plan for that. Also going across and cleaning up the entrance to the golf course. And then we're working with, Mike Sesney on a bunch of areas. The big thing that we also are trying to do when we have our paving program is eliminate areas of icing. So we have some low-lying areas. We have an area in Woodlawn right now that we're working with Schenectady Municipal Housing on. Maryvale, where road ices because it's low. We're looking to do a project there to raise the road because the less icing that we have on the road, the less work for our DPW crews, because it is a specific focus of that where they have to first dispatch more ice locations. Another one we just are doing now is on Rugby Bowl Plot. You see a little corner work we're doing there. That is using icing and some flooding areas that we have there. But we're trying to pick away at it, but I will have an idea more towards January. Right now, we're just wrapping up.
Talking about that streets, so Norwood by Hawthorne, so the tennis court, that section was, the others were paved, but that section was not paved. Is there a reason why that Hawthorne to tennis court area?
That's the area I'm talking about.
So
So we stopped while we're designing that entire area with the triangle. This is going to be reconstructed.
from Hawthorne all the way up to.
Right. Correct. From there up to, not right up to the exit ramp, but up a little ways. If you were known, if there's a catch basin that's in disrepair and there's very awkward over triangular island. That's not the right size, so we're gonna try to clean up that.
You're talking about the cat basement in that circle right by Pennsylvania, Skylar.
Correct. Yep.
And Norwood.
Yeah, that area right there.
Okay, thank you.
So I do want,
No, you, and then.
I do see that, traffic calming was cut from your budget.
Yes.
Okay, so what are we doing to address these stop signs and issues with residents in the city? How do you think we're gonna move forward with that? Do we have any money in the budget next year?
Well, that's what I was, that's why I made a note of it, is that I don't specifically have money in the budget for. That was what what I'm trying to do is itemize the budget a little bit so that it kind of takes some of the nuance and pressure off of everything. It's that, I looked at the city of Albany's budget. City of Albany's budget is similar to ours, but like I say, they spell out everything. So when we get CHIPS money, we pay the CHIPS money. Similarly, we separated CHIPS and CDBG, trying to just focus. So, so the idea behind that was that, that we would put X amount of dollars into what Albany would call speed mitigation, traffic mitigation, and they dedicated $1 million to $2 million a year to it. And that's how they put in their traffic humps and speed and all those things. They use that funding, not the CHIPS funding. And they actually had a line called traffic service. So I kind of copied that, put the amounts in. But, given the situation that we have, fiscally, it was, those were some of the first things that we looked at to say, we haven't done this in the past. Now really the best time to start. It's not to say that we can't put in stop signs and do some work with CHIPS money. It is possible. It's just the idea that the budget to what we would like to do and not budget in this shotgun manner of we're going to tell the city engineer what we think and he's going to have to figure out how to pay for it. It's if the city would like to see the creation and the installation of speed humps, then we have to put something in the budget, similar to what we did with the sidewalks, that says is that we believe that we need to do this, we're putting X amount of dollars for me to do that. And if it's not in the budget, not in the budget, so then I'm gonna continue to do the base work.
And I've appreciated and trusted your response, Mr. Mastriani, and all the work that we do. It's gotta be overwhelming for you on a daily basis, but thank you for what you do. So I know I've been working for years, some of us have on Kings Road and Rosary Road and places like that. So we just want to make sure that that's, there's hasn't take of that fact moving forward. That's something that we really want to propose for the coming budget.
So, I'm sorry.
Mr. Williams.
Actually, I hear everything, all the conversation just took place, and I'm increasingly worried that Mr. Wallen is the sole engineer functioning with all of this knowledge and information at the city. There's nothing to stop him from choosing tomorrow to transition to another municipality or workforce. We've seen that happen. And in his absence, how does the city function? Where a lot of the projects, and I appreciate our conversations, they require that historical context to understand how to mitigate some unforeseen issues that you just wouldn't know if you just weren't here 5 years ago. And that's why I appreciate the tutelage and knowledge of Mr. Rivera and Mr. Porterfield just calling those out. Because having that source reference knowledge is important to understand that we don't repeat some lessons learned that just aren't captured with newer individuals at the table. But for the amount of time that I've been on the council, we just continue to hear how it's difficult to provide a support view or a secession, if you wouldn't mind. But sincerely, there needs to be a hyper focus because to me, a number of the projects that were just identified at the table, those would fall into the work tasks in excess of the core operations. We talk about mental health in the workplace. The thought of you being so cautious of the time you take away from your job because of how it will halt operations at the city, I would imagine that as a component of your consideration. I hope that at this stage in your career, you understand you have to step away at times. But again, with respect to engineering, you just keep asking for more and more and more. And it's with good measures like safety considerations, paving schedules, they're things that matter to the community. But even with the fee for service line, I shadowed your department for a brief moment and I felt like I was taking away your time. But even for the projects that you're not managing directly, you're indirectly managing them because a member from your office has to sign off on those at the end of the day. So I would even say that that's double the work. So although we can align the budget, there needs to be an emphasis from within City Hall, because again, that is a big shortfall, and I do not want to see us continue down this path of having individuals with so many different varying responsibilities that sometimes exceed their immediate role set. And as we replace them, we now have to decouple all these things, and it's more difficult. So I see this as a crossroad for us, and I hope that we can address this moving forward. And I hate the word hope because we have to figure it out eventually. But to me, it doesn't seem like we are. So I can thank you, and we can all thank you for what you do. But until we provide you some supports, this is a ticking time bomb. And I am one of a lot of members in our community that moved back with the hopes of putting some supports, or with the hopes that Schenectady will still be here. And I don't want to see your good efforts fall by the wayside because of our poor plan. That was a comment.
Well said. That is
Like eulogy.
Yes. You're not going anywhere. But yes, you need support staff to help you along.
And
Agreed.
what we are trying to do in the department, having another IPS has helped, is we are trying to utilize technology and organization. We're trying to, in case anybody were to walk in there, it is, Steve spent 6 months organizing files and scanning and working with IT just to try to make it so that if someone were to come in, they would not be just inheriting, I inherited a desk with a lot of paper on it, we're trying to track things differently. And I do think it helps when you have things more itemized, like what we're talking about. That way you can just see these are the tasks at hand. And I really do think that with the end of the ARPA and the DRI, I think that a lot of funding, we had a lot of projects in a very short amount of time. And we didn't, increase staff to handle it. It was just a lot going on. I think maybe we'll get back to some kind of normality. But I appreciate it. I mean, I would like to have one here, but the issue is I just don't want to sit here and say that, with 13 years without having another PE, that in this fiscal budget, that this is the year that we really need a PE. And that if I walk away, that the city's gonna be doomed. The city's been here for a very long time. And, everybody's managed to figure it out without me and without other, it'll keep going on. It's government. It'll just be a little bit more inefficient, I guess.
I'm talking about paving, residential paving, removed from your office. Sorry, under your control. It's not under residential permit inspection. That is completely under code.
Right. So several years ago, what we decided for efficiencies was that anything that affected a private parcel. So if it was on private property, then that work would just go to codes, because technically engineering is different. I'm usually, my staff are in the right of way. We don't have badges. We don't have authority to go on private property. Technically, I'm sure there's something in there that says I could, but we changed the structure years ago to be that if a permit had to do with anything that was on a private property, such as you're paving your driveway, but I have a review in the past in municipality, if it's a curb cut, if it's sidewalks, anything in the right of way, that would check, and I do get that call from code officers that say, it's a new curb cut, does this curb cut meet city standard, and then I will review it and check. But if it's just someone wants to retake a driveway, I don't have to get it. And that has been a benefit.
Well, you're completely out of reviewing this?
Paving the driveway?
Yes, you're completely out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at, is that the core operations part of it, if you were to look back, I keep these for years, where it says permit issuance inspection, there used to be 6 there. Sidewalk, paving, all that, but anything that had to do with a residential or a commercial property, those were transitioned to codes, and I now have revocables, which are things in the right of way, and the small wireless facilities, which are also things in right of way. So I handle anything that's in the city's right of way.
So just back to the budget cut, sorry, when you say cut some budget, is it because that something you removed based on needing to cut back a certain amount, or was that something that you asked for and was removed?
Which, you talking about the position?
Actually, I'm specifically talking about, the MS4 requirements and the traffic calming. And, well.
Right, well, like I said, it was, the MS4 requirement was, something that I actually spoke with Mayor and Finance about, regarding copying the Ithaca way of doing things, and it requires, a new fee creation of it, but there's a lot of complications to that, so it's something I'm gonna continue to work on with Derek, because it is a large implementation. So we decided not to go forward. Traffic calming, like I said, in the parking study, those were singular capital lines. They were not in the operating budget. They could go in the operating budget, but those were things that were in capital. But once again, this is a tight budget, so they were removed. Wanted to have them in there to show that we talked about these things. I added them to the budget, but we had to have some discussions when we get to our capital about things that are more important than that. And there may be some ways around it, but also it would be great if I guess we get off the focus of trying to do so much. And that's the thing, is that in the city, the Craig Street project and putting 4 stop signs up sometimes take just as much time. There's a lot of conversations that need to happen with both of those projects, so there are time consuming. But we can, this is the city's budget, it's not my budget, this is what we gotta do.
Are there any other questions? Okay, seeing none. I think we covered all the departments, except for adult and.
Yeah, we didn't go through all the lines, I'll just roughly 14 is the administrative, APWA dues, county SWIP dues, that is the 402 line. Fees for services, that is what I do use to pay for consultants when it comes time for, I need third-party services. So that line I would appreciate remaining. You can see the 1 year was very high, we had to do some transfers, but then what we did is, that was in lieu of staff, we moved some staff money to there, and that's what we did, but I'm comfortable with that number. And then, like I said, the rest of it is small, it's cell phones, training, and then once again, so not really, they're $4,500.
Are there any other questions on the week section? Pick up all yours, except capital.
Yeah.
Let's do capital under your engineering department, and then we'll do what we need to do. Buildings, and then come back into the last and the build. So page 91. Bottom section. Into next page. And this one I wanted to.
Sure, I didn't know Derek was gonna go out.
Just look at the items and just.
Sure, the first one, electric vehicle charging stations, what we're looking to do is, currently we have 5 charge point charging stations. They were installed over 5 years ago. We've been having some issues with the annual maintenance fees on them and some of the repairability. Our facilities department, asked that, we transition those to Linkwell, which is the stations that we've been putting in, lately. We have some right in back City Hall. We're also putting some in at the golf course. There's 2, and in some other areas in the city, we have been both stations going in. So this is to replace the existing stations and put in a couple of new stations for electric vehicle charging. The next, fire station improvements. So that is, I have 3 improvements. So we did a lot of work to Fire Station 1, replace their HVAC heating system for the heating. A really successful project. We also have a whole house generator, but in doing that, what we have now is they have a console on the front of the building. The console used to be where dispatch was. Now we moved to a central dispatch, but that console remains. It is a very large hardwired console, and it's taking up a lot of space. It looks like something from NASA, Houston, we have a problem. I mean, it is an old, and so we have some quotes to remove that and refurbish that room so they can turn it into more administrative spaces. We're also looking at doing the roof at Station 2 and at Station 4. So that is fire station improvements, parking kiosks, as you know, as we're transitioning to Glasgow, but we have a lot of outdated kiosks around. So we're looking at doing, even though we did upgrade some, we have a lot of, kiosks that really need to be upgraded with the new displays. So this is to buy those 10 new kiosks and locate them in our busier areas, do a whole reshuffling of kiosks, working with the PD department. Paving, that is our general paving fund. That is in addition to CHIPS. That is for work that is not CHIPS eligible. It is really useful to have funds dedicated to paving for non-CHIPS eligible work because CHIPS does have requirements. The next one, replacement of greenhouses at Central Park. We have 2 greenhouses at Central Park that are dating back to the 1950s. They are our last greenhouses with antiquated controls. We installed a new teaching greenhouse with a grant that we got from Really that greenhouse is a polycarbonate greenhouse. It is phenomenal. Their production has doubled using the greenhouse. And instead of investing money into those old greenhouses, Paul and I were like, no. So we're looking at 2 new greenhouses that are polycarbonate that will use their automation system. The greenhouses will be almost identical size, but more configured for production, just longer traditional greenhouses. So that's one of them. And then signage, which is Central Park signage. So we've been working for well over 2 years on installation of signage, wayfinding signage in Central Park. And I spoke with Derek about it. I hope to use general paving funds because we do signage with general paving. However, since we're not paving all the roads around the park, because we had to come, it's safer to bond council just to do it this way. These are, not street signs. These are decorative signs similar to you would see in a state park that would be placed at the main entrances around the park. And it's good timing for it because now everything's kind of set where it is. We know where everything's going to be, so that is the next one. So those were the replacements for engineering.
So we do have some signage around Central Park. Are we going to replace those with these new signage?
Any signs that was like Rose Garden signage, that's going to remain. That was privately funded, that Rose Garden signage. This is more wayfinding. It's actually going to be outside around the perimeter of the park. Not so much on the interior to make sure that people know where the pool is, where to park. Where to park for A diamond, B diamond, Schenectady educational, environmental. We want to make sure people know where that is. So we have a plan, and we're ready to go. It's just that we need the funding to implement it.
Okay. Sometime back in the last year or the year before, we did some work for the greenhouse with a bathroom or something like that.
We did install a bathroom.
Yes.
We installed a composting bathroom with a grant.
Was it last year?
2 years.
2 years ago, that's when
Yeah. No, the greenhouse is, it really is an asset to the city. I encourage anyone to go. And if you'd like to see what that new greenhouse does, it's unbelievable. And what they can do, they actually climate controlled, all computerized and it showed us some of the produce that they're making out of there and what they can do. I think this is going to really increase the capacity and, it's not a for-profit thing. It's something that they're providing.
Go ahead, Ms. Patrick.
Well, a couple of questions, 3 questions. One about the greenhouses. What's your estimation of would we be able to go another year if we couldn't replace the greenhouses with new greenhouses? So that's my first question.
I would want to talk with Pam and Janet about it just because they have put off certain things with updating because of it. The heating systems are antiquated, they have old oil heat. We're really trying to get away from oil, from everything, they have tanks in the ground. And then, some of the glass is broken. That's the issue, it is a glass greenhouse. So, I would, if you could, recommend that we try to move forward with it just because there's electrical things going on there. If you were to look at it, it's pretty bad.
Okay, and then in terms of the signage, did we ever, I feel like this in my memory, did we ever have a partnership with the county for some of those weight-bearing signs, or is that just something I'm imagining?
I don't
like
recall
Vale Park
having
and I feel like Steve Feeney, we need to talk with.
So
Steve
I
about
worked with Steve Feeney and another grant, which was the Vale Central Park Connector. And that was a signage project that we completed a couple of years ago.
Okay, so that was what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and that is in place, and that we utilize the new capital district trail logos. We were one of the first municipalities to do it. Which is great, and if anybody looks outside the window, you'll see our continuation project that's going on, which is, we're getting some really good reviews of that. Franklin Street Cycle Track, while it's not done, you can really see it because the asphalt's been cut out and the curb is going in. And that's the continuation of that path all the way from there. And that's gonna be a federal project that we're working on next year as well, which is the continuation of that path from the Environmental Education Center to State Street. So that someone on a bicycle could have a dedicated path all the way from State and Fair to City Hall. So technically, you could ride on a bike on a dedicated path from State Street to the farm market. Which is great in our next phase to try to get you from here to Union Street so that we can connect you to the Mohawk Custom Trail, which would be huge. So only a couple blocks to go until we're done with that.
Okay, and my last thing was just about lighting in the parks. I thought for some reason that we had talked about that previously when we had the parks director here, but I'm not seeing it in my notes, but.
What's the concern?
I mean, do we have enough lighting, do you think, in terms of some of the roadways around the pool?
On the pool, what is the place around the pool? I don't know.
I'm wondering on the road in from, the Rose Garden up into like around Music Haven, is there are there any plans to?
No,
Putting more light in there?
we can, so as everybody probably knows, the Central Park Tennis Court project is ongoing right now.
Yeah.
When that is completed, we are looking to redo Arthur Chairs Road, and it's a one-way.
Great.
I can look into it, that would be something that would be eligible to be put in, be lighting on Arthur Chairs, but I haven't looked at it as it, for the whole park.
Okay.
Yeah, I have this, the first I heard about it.
Okay, thanks.
So back to the electric vehicle charging stations, when you talked about, you mentioned a couple, in the golf, at the golf course? Yes?
Yes,
So as I recall, the police department recently got a grant for that, right? So is this in addition to what the money they got, is the money they got?
this is in addition, so those projects are already happening. We have, Erie Boulevard, the golf course, Lafayette by the police station, and I believe there's one other location, they're getting right now. Foster Avenue, that's correct, yep, Foster Avenue by the garage.
So how many are you asking, is this for here?
This is for, let me consult my giant folder. I believe it was 10. 13. Yeah, this would be good for 13, dual port charging stations.
So for a total, and I can't remember, how many was it for the police department, just 2, or was it 4?
Well, that's different. Remember, the police department was getting under a different, fund.
I understand.
Okay,
but-
that was, they're getting two, and it's kind of tricky, 2 with 2, so it's 4 vehicles. That's usually how we do it.
At the golf course.
At the golf course, at the police station, at Foster Avenue, and on Erie Boulevard.
Right, I just want to make sure at the golf course they're getting 4 essentially.
It's 4 poles. Yeah, that was a really, actually, pretty simple project with those locations that we found, so that's good, and it should be, almost done very soon, we just called it in.
And so, how many, are they gonna be there now?
At the golf course?
Yes.
No,
So it would be a total of 14, is with the 10, this 10 and therefore.
No, it's not 10, it's 30.
Oh, 13.
13 plus the 4, so 17. Yes, and then double that, you have 34 plugs.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I have a few questions in everything that you do in your office. As far as grants, are there a lot out there? Is there someone that particularly focuses on grants that might be out there for charging stations? That's my first question.
Well, I believe some of the money that we got originally was from, grants.
I guess I got grants with a question mark, so we might have to do that, okay. Next question. As far as the greenhouses, have you thought of like the freight farm? Like the city mission has, where they grow things hydroponically as a alternative to something in the greenhouse? Have you been in there or seen
No,
that?
I don't.
Everything goes kind of like hydroponically on walls with lights and things. I don't know, it may be something to look at
Okay.
as far as what we put in there.
And not, I had to ask the greenhouse participants not to come, just because I said, let's just have a normal budget meeting, but if there was ever any information, they might be listening and coming right now. They're very interested in promoting what they do with the greenhouse. So I'm not familiar with the hydroponic. I do know that the new greenhouses have like higher racks that they do hang things from, compared to the old one, but
We've worked on doing some of the capital support. The actual plants and other things are run by cooperative extension.
Let's
And if the greenhouse volunteers are looking, please send us your recommendations. We will look at it.
The new parking kiosks, so, I mean, going with VAS and the new system that we're going to go through, there's nothing through them that they can give us some money for something to replace some of these kiosks in the
we
city?
can ask, and
I'm
so,
just,
no, but a fair point would be is, I don't know if we have signed any kind of agreement with GoLab. Metroplex has gone forward with that. I think they've actually started already changing their branding, but right now, we do not have any type of agreement with them that I'm aware of or transitioning over to that. So it's something that, I'll have to follow up on. But that could be part of that conversation if they want to contribute anything to that point.
and another thing is the, I know, Central Park it's considered like a New York State park. There's a lot of funding that might happen for signage. No.
A state park.
Not a state park, but under New York State parks. Have we ever looked into anything like that?
I haven't, I can ask, but I probably would think our consultant would have, they do a lot of work in state parks, and I haven't heard anything about a funding opportunity.
And the last thing is, the lot off of Fear Avenue. There's a lot of construction, grading, milling going on over there. What are we gonna do there outside of Avon now?
The parking.
Right, has it been paved, or I haven't been by there in quite a while, but I know we're looking to make a lot of parking there.
And we have.
Yeah.
There
It's open now, there used to be big blocks there.
are blocks, but the blocks are to delineate entrance fees. Yes.
Okay, oh, good, so just the one and then.
So, one of the things that I requested by Chris Vaughn was he asked if we could look at moving the blocks next year and doing a curb area out front in lieu of the blocks. The blocks are a temporary measure to try to delineate where it is. And I said that we would work on it. Possibly then that what we could do is make median areas and then put trees in the median areas out front. The reason that trees would be difficult inside of the parking lot itself is that is, with all the development in the city, which is a good thing, and all the utilization of space, that is the city's primary snow dump. And when we do pile snow there, we use very large equipment. And just the trees would not fare well, given that what we do there. But so far, for everything that we've done, we made the area, put buildings down, we compacted them. Mike Stroman and myself laid out a rudimentary parking lot using just paint and we had one person directing, and I think everything went really well for our events. People just kind of fell once you set the first couple of cars out, it didn't work. But I do think that softening the entrance with some plantings and some curb will help. So I'm gonna work with Chris on that, because right now the blocks, yeah, they're a little off.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, please.
That's actually, this has to, so back with EV charging stations. We have a lot around City Hall and getting more, especially this question is probably more around for City Hall. And let me, what are we doing to make sure that someone with a gas vehicle doesn't work there.
Is there? I think there's all signed to say.
Yeah, I understand that, but
Well, they would get ticketed just like somebody whose meter is expired or parked in some improper way.
unless it's on the weekend and then,
No, that would still be ticketed if you have a gas vehicle and an electric vehicle charging station.
but our ticket people don't work on the weekends, do they?
Police officers do.
Oh, okay, well, because I think that, I was talking about this with someone before that it's happening. So I didn't know what the process was, when someone sees it, if they should call.
That was one of the things that I have been mentally struggling with and talking with some people in the MPO about is bringing electric vehicle charging stations to the city, not the downtown, but for residents. As you know, not everyone has a driveway or a garage. So if you're trying to promote electric vehicles, but you can't charge an electric, that's one of the things that everybody's trying to talk about is how do you promote people to use these? So you have to put an electric charging station in places that are more public, more in the neighborhoods. So like I said, we're trying to replace, some, but there's some extra ones in here that I'm looking to try to find some locations that are a bit more neighborhood oriented, so that someone may say, hey, you know what, I could actually use this if I'm in a neighborhood. Try, because it's challenging. You need to have a specific set of circumstances if you want to own one, or you charge all the time at a third party, which may be feasible, but I don't know if I want to purchase a vehicle based off of that.
And is there some way that people can have something at their home?
Yeah.
For to charge at their own home,
Yes.
to charge that?
You can, well, that's what I'm getting at, is usually you wouldn't see it out per.
No.
That's what I'm getting at, and a lot of places do not have a driveway or a garage, or, I know, a lot of people that I know who have charged electric vehicles, charge them inside their garage.
Oh,
And if you don't have a garage
or drive.
or a driveway, it's a little difficult.
Yes, gotcha. All right.
So maybe that's something to think about, again, a partnership with possibly the school district because they're located in the neighborhoods and then like, especially if we're looking at overnight charging, then usually overnight, from 5 o'clock on, those parking lots aren't usually as much in use. And I'm sure that, especially with the governor's push to our electric vehicles, even the school fleet, they would like to see it happen like that. So maybe that's an area to start.
Yeah, I was thinking, that's a good idea, because there are a lot of students around there.
Any other questions? Thank you so much, please. You're not part of the.
No, I'm
So
not.
this is 50, we can do, let's do golf. If you don't, you're part of golf.
Yeah.
Here, okay.
So that would be, let's do golf, but that would be, pay it 85.
And then we cover this, estimate that.
Thanks.
Cover that.
We should just walk it through the revenue and
Of course,
then into expenditure and then hand over to,
or for yep, the golf fund, increased by 1.24% from 1.695 to 1.7, 131,000 increase. The revenues are pretty standard, across the board, there will be increased with that, Kelly and, Mr. Wong will be, coming in January, as per usual every year. Other than that, everything is status quo.
so you just wanna walk us through anything, highlight anything that we need to know? What's going on with the golf course?
Specifically, anything,
Just general.
yeah, I mean, as Jared mentioned, really nothing much in the adopted revenue is really pretty much the same. We have seen the last 2 years have been incredible weather. Obviously it was a kind of a hiccup to start the year. The spring was really, rainy. So we were kind of behind, last year's revenues for most of the year. We managed to catch up, at the beginning of this month, and I think we're gonna start being able to pull away from last year's numbers now as a result of that. But it took us a while to get there when we finally did get past that hurdle. I would probably say since mid-June, right through to now, I mean, the weather's been incredible. And it shows, just the amount of people that we've been able to bring through there. I think golf courses in general, across the capital region have really, seen a lot of success this year, well, the last 2 years really, but, it was a nice turnaround because it was, it didn't look, it was kind of bleak in the beginning of the year, for sure.
I have a revenue budget.
Yes.
So you in staffing, your staffing is showing an increase of 2% into the 2026 budget. You want to highlight the reason for that?
Yeah, it's just because we've become so busy and we'd like to just fill a couple of areas. And of course, I don't like to have burnout with some staff members, so it's nice to have some extra people on hand to fill certain roles. When we are busier, for sure.
In terms of the number of attendants, the fee increase, we've had, minor fee increase over the last couple of years. Does that affecting the numbers, the attendance at the golf course? In terms of the fees, in terms of numbers, are you seeing a trend, upward trend in terms of attendance?
I think it's just pretty much plateaued. I mean, you can only put in so many rounds a day. And I think we're just seeing that number hit almost maximum every year. I don't really see a decrease because of the fees going up at all.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
The weather was a dampening factor in the spring, attendance was down. But the problem now is max out of tee times. So if people don't have the ability to play, to sign up, get in there, there's still slots on Sunday afternoon that are open that tend to be slow and maybe a little bit later on Saturday. But otherwise, you wait in line to play golf. It's a great facility and it's in tip-top shape.
So how is the new improvement working out for you? The ARPA allocation that we made towards.
Oh my God.
Do you want to talk about that? Highlight that?
So, yeah, the new irrigation system install has been, I mean, it didn't come without hiccups, right, Chris? We had some minor bumps on the road with the install. Some of the heads were sticking, a little bit issue with the pump station, but once those resolved, I mean, I've been at that golf course this is my 14th year as a professional. Even as a kid growing up, it's pretty remarkable. I've never seen a golf course look in the condition that it is right now. I was at the Ryder Cup at Bethpage a few weeks ago. And you looked at the shape of the holes and you can tell when a golf course has a high budget. You just by the way it's manicured, it's just as simple as that. You look down the first fairway of our golf course and I'm like, man, it's not that much different. I mean, just the definition of it, just the playing condition. But that's the one area that I hear mostly from golfers all over the capital region that come here. They're like, this place is incredible. I mean, I think the biggest complaint now is the rough is too hard.
Yeah.
The grass is too long on the rough.
It doesn't get
But see, the issue is that the rough never got the watering system to hit those areas. Now it's healthy. So now they're discovering it's a little more difficult in that respect, but it's not because the grass is longer, it's healthier. And that's the one area, and actually they've cut the grass a little bit shorter in that regard, but because it's thick and healthy. So, I mean, you see it in neighborhoods when a person really takes care of their lawn and it's whether it's well manicured, you go on there, you see how healthy the grass is. That's what it's like at our facility, every square inch of it.
How is the new vendor, the concession stand working out for you?
Fantastic. Mr. Nicky's been great. He's, I mean, that's another area. He completely transformed. If anybody's been in there, you see it's a complete 180 from what it's been. I mean, I think June and David did a very nice job for what they had, but he's brought it to a different level. It's much more professional. Just the look of the facility in general, it's more accommodating. And he's getting people that aren't there to play golf, they're just coming there to frequent the place. It's, yeah, we actually did a wedding there. That was a first. Yeah, there's an event tent, there's an event tent down between the 9th and 18th green, just beside one of the practice greens, and you can see it coming up 18 and 9. It kind of sits in the background. And he uses that for special events, so it's more accommodating for other things. And he's utilizing every inch of that space. So he's done a tremendous job.
Talking about that, a couple of years ago, we had bought a tent, so especially then.
That's it.
So is that,
That's it.
that's gonna be up on?
It is up.
Is it up?
It is, yeah.
And it's available for people to rent for special event?
Yes,
So we have to promote it.
yes. I believe he has been.
He has?
Yeah.
Who's done that?
Yes. Miss Forte.
So, a couple questions.
Yes.
Under revenue,
Mhm.
CR 2012B, utility reimbursement, so it was like 12,023 and 50,000, then it went down in 25, and then now it's back up. Can you tell us what that's for?
Utility reimbursement, Chris.
Yeah, Eric. Utility, I mean, you're handling the reimbursement end of it. I mean, he's really reimbursing the meter values. So even that number there is kind of, it's a pass through more or less, right?
Combined usage.
Right.
So.
But we're not. That number is actually probably low. But one of the things is that really isn't a revenue because there isn't an expense to offset it. So that's something maybe we have to look at. He is, the building is, great, the building is metered two meters. 1 meter is our meter, 1 meter is his meter. The city, as the owner of the building, receives the bill and we issue MBBs to him every month for that amount. And I believe that he would, but I don't know if it actually gets reported as revenue. I don't know if it does.
It does.
It does. So right now we up to, I don't know what we're up to.
I'm trying to find it.
But it's a net zero. The city does not make money, the city does not lose money, it is paying for the meter from his.
Right, so it's really, so based on that explanation, it's really not revenue, just getting reimbursed because. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, in part 2, the seasonal memberships went down significantly.
Yeah.
That's on purpose.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we raised it, what, about 3 or 4 years ago to a different number, significantly higher than they were, because we felt that they were undervalued. And we are municipal courts after all, we didn't want to turn it into more of a private club style place or just membership type style. So I think there was a lot of players that were turned off by that. They decided not to get the season membership or season pass rather. And then I noticed it's cyclical. There'll be years where we'll get people that are interested and they're all going home and say, yeah, I want to get it. And the number goes up and it comes, it ebbs and flows. I personally like it when that number's lower because we're able to get it more. I mean, I think we do better revenue wise when the season memberships are lower, in my opinion.
So one of the things that I just wanted to point out, and Matt, I think you detailed it, is one of the things that Matt has to handle, which is a big task, and what we work together on is tee times are finite. So, I can honestly right now tell you the maximum amount of revenue the course could make. It's just an equation. It's the amount of tee times times the amount of days that we're open times a non-resident rate for the car. And I can show you that number. This is the maximum this course is ever going to make. But what Matt really is managing, which is difficult, is you have events, you have leagues, you have the public, and you have season pass holders. You have those 4 categories, and I might be missing one, correct me if I'm not. And we have to manage how we have those 4 categories into this finite block of tee times. If Matt wanted to, he could book an event almost every single day. But then the public won't be able to play the golf course. Similarly, a league, he has a waiting list, I believe, for leagues.
Yes.
We could have leagues go from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Once again, then the public cannot play the golf course. So it's a balance of when do we actually allow leagues to come? And if a league goes, there's a backlist. When do we want to come up with events? We stop having events on certain days.
Yeah,
And it's
most on weekends, we've decided not to take events on weekends just because that's a peak time for us. The most popular time for the general public to be able to play the golf course. But as Trish described, those four entities, they are all have important value to the course. It's important to have events there. So you can showcase the golf course. It's important to have league play. And of course, it's extremely important to have regular. And all four serve a purpose for that facility. But trying to balance them all is the tricky part.
That was my question. Membership was down 40%, but I know there was a huge hike and increase. And so that works out well, especially balancing everything out to do there. And golfing there
Yeah,
2 times a week. The course is just beautiful. And on those hot days when the sprinklers go off, it's nice to run underneath them. And we do complain about now the first cut and the rough being way too rough to get out of. But it's because the grass is so healthy, and hopefully we can set it up a little bit instead of playing the ball where it lies. Like
you'll have to talk to the
Popeye.
USGA about that.
Yeah. But it is, thank you for everything that you do there. Mr. Mattice has been a nice addition to your team up there.
Yeah, Jeff's been great.
And of course,
Thank
the
you.
parlor, it's a parlor.
Yeah,
It's been good. I mean, there's a lot of times we're coming in from league play and there's not any room for us to kind of sit or hang out because so many people are there from different organizations. One day the whole lacrosse team from Niski was there.
yeah, in the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah, so it was, but we, whatever, so it's a good thing. Everything moving forward there is just perfect. Thank you.
I prefer. No, go ahead.
You had it,
That's fine. Okay, so the golf course is making money for the city.
What's
I
that?
said, so the golf course is making money for the city, and when so we're not like taking any money out of the general fund to support the golf courses. It's quite the opposite.
Yeah, correct.
Right. So kind of, but to Mr. Wallen's point, it's if you kind of managed it just a little differently, to maybe allow some more of and it might cut down the availability of the public, being a municipal golf course, I have to balance those tensions. I'm just thinking like, how much would you have to change, or is it that formula, is it so specific that you could say, oh, if we opened it up to a league or 2 more leagues this many times a year, it would generate this amount of revenue. I'm thinking quite selfishly about like how could we manage that and maybe produce some revenue for our existing youth employment line that I'm just kind of bouncing that idea out there.
Actually, my question is very much related
Let me switch
to.
over to the mayor.
What I was trying to say is that Matt has really done a great job of balancing the whole thing. And the one factor right now to drive revenue up is slightly beyond our control. It's the weather. You get a nice day, people are there playing golf. It's pouring rain, it drops the revenue a little bit, pretty much to what, is it under 0?
Yeah, no, I would say.
But, you look at that balance, and I understand what you're saying, but there's not a simple thing, if you get one league, you're gonna get X number of dollars, because you're gonna lose some free play from the general public. But it's just, if you've got good weather, they get more people.
So I guess to kind of, because I think we're all on the same page here, so like maybe looking at, I mean, I would love to see it go to 300,000. That's, I don't know, but if maybe to increase the membership fees slightly across all the fees to generate $150,000. I don't know how much that would, how much that would increase it for an individual member. Just trying to figure out how do we do that.
So the season passes most of them will look at it in terms of, so let's say a non-resident pays, I think it's $2,100 off the top of my head.
Sure.
They're gonna dissect that number every which way they can think of.
Sure.
How many rounds do I need to play to make sure that I can get my value? And then there's gonna be a few that say they don't care, it's the convenience of it. I can book 8 days in advance as opposed to 7. It's convenient for me, I like that, so I'm gonna do it. So it depends on the person's, I guess, interest in that regard. But yeah, I mean, you could raise it to any number you want. But what are they getting for the value? But it's not a typical golf course.
I was
where
gonna say,
you
they
have
got this,
pool, locker room, tennis facilities. We have a lot of those things already, but they're just in separate entities. We have we have the tennis courts, pickleball and all that, but they're located throughout the city. It's not in one specific facility, like at Mohawk Club, for instance. You go there, they have a pool, they have locker room, they have clubhouse. Everything is right there centrally located. It's very convenient. But their membership fees are $10,000 for a family of 4.
right, so there's a lot of daylight in between that and talking about how amazing, to your point and everyone's point, how amazing our golf course is. I'm just imagining that there might be some opportunities there to increase revenue, especially for, that line in particular.
If you were to do something like that, then I would ask that you own it, which is
Say again?
like, years ago, right, we had a 75th anniversary fee, and you knew what it was. We were charging $1 extra around for the 75th anniversary fee. It went into a pot. And that was used, we bought benches, and we did some improvements off the 75th anniversary fee. So if you are looking for the golf course to fund a Parks Youth Aid program, then I would say you don't hide the fee. You don't, you put it out there and you put a poster on the golf course.
Sure.
And you say that like the city of Schenectady fees are helping fund X. So maybe, you're gonna get the cranky old people that have been there for 50 years, they'll say, I can't believe the fees went up $2 instead of $1. But, you're giving us to say, this is what we're doing with it. This is the part between that. The only thing that I wanna make sure is, once again, if we're trying to operate this golf course fiscally responsible, is that if you were to look on page 90, and it just, typically how we go and see it is that you're gonna see transfer to general fund, water fund, sewer fund, 250 and 2,000, and then underneath you're gonna see a transfer to capital fund, which is blank. The reason that that's usually blank is that we don't anticipate ever, a revenue, right? We make sure our expenses equal our revenues. And then to Matt's point, right now, all things considered, we're moving into the black, right? We're slowly creeping into the black. As we creep into the black and hopefully our revenues outpace our expenses, then that transfer to the capital fund goes up, tick, 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 tick. And that's what we use for our capital, which you're gonna ask about lately. Next, if we start taking the capital fund revenue, then we're not going to be putting any money into our savings, and then we're going to be relying on bonding to buy our mowers and equipment. So it would need to be, the transfer to the general fund would need to be equal, and then we still need to be able to make sure that we have a capital fund, and that's to the mayor's point, but even if it rains, we can't anticipate every day being sunny, that we have to, because if we bring our transfer to the capital fund to zeros, our savings will go down very quickly. And then we're gonna rely on bonding, which we haven't had to do before.
Right, so I guess I agree, my point is saying like, even with that consideration made, then what we're essentially saying is that, and I agree with you, like, just be really clear and transparent about why we're doing it. I think that would actually encourage people to feel a little bit better about, about paying an increased fee because they recognize that, it's, going to something that's also it's being reinvested in the community, right? And that then we get the economic benefit of that dollar and so on and so forth with the public safety, yada yada stuff I've been saying for years. But so I say yes, do that, and I guess the formula I would say is that I'm sure you guys are gonna come and say, we put a lot of money into this golf course and it's absolutely beautiful, one of the best around for what it is. So we're going to, we justify increasing the fees and still leaving a lot of daylight between us and the private golf course, right? So my saying is like, maybe if you could figure out what that formula would be, what does it look like to increase fees to where we're able to put the money away, but there is that additional and intentional couple bucks spread across everyone that could equal to this $200,000, and then we can fund a youth program, which puts money back into the community and saves us money in the public safety aligns well. So like, that's what I'm suggesting we do.
Yeah, what's the amount?
Well, my amount would be $300,000. So once we get there, once we get there, we could talk about, scaling it back, but like, let's look at what it would be, is what I'm saying we should do.
Go ahead, then.
In a related issue, of course, because I'm not a golfer, I can't remember what the golf starter / ranger is, but I was wondering if those could be youth, and I think they probably already are, but I
They
wasn't
could be
sure.
what?
Maybe
Youth.
youth employees, because I was kind of thinking that would be 10 of the, that would be 10 employees, right there, that's $45,000, that I think, are they youth? I'm not sure.
So,
Some of them are.
couple, not really specifically for those types of positions.
Okay.
Peter's young at heart.
Yeah. So when you're a starter at the golf course, right,
Making much money.
it can be a pressure packed situation for sure. I mean, you're constantly working to get golfers out at a reasonable time. And a lot of the times the starters get bullied by the golfers. They are impatient. They don't want to play with certain people. If they get paired up with strangers that they may not know. That's kind of part of it being in a public golf course. That's sort of what goes along with that facility.
Okay.
So it's, if you have a young individual of 16 years old may not be able to handle that sort of pressure or know how to talk to an individual because they don't have the maturity yet for that. Not saying that that's going to happen, but it's a possibility. So we try not to put them in a position that they're not going to succeed in.
Oh, yeah, no, the same at the
We
pool.
we'll kind of groom them to get them.
Right.
Like get them under the flanking of, a senior staff member to say, here, take them under your wing for a day or two, see how they do. And that's happened. So one of the best employees I ever had was Ricardo Gregory. The kid was amazing. He was mature beyond his years.
Yeah.
And he could do everything.
Right.
But he worked his way to that. We didn't just thrust him in there. He actually took it upon himself and volunteered to do these different positions. And we felt that he was successful, but that, of course, you're not gonna always get an individual like that.
Yeah.
So that's what we tried to do, if that answers your question.
That did. I think we're all kind of interested in how we're gonna be able to, fund that $150,000.
We just found it.
So also along those lines, the raffle, I can't remember how much the check was that went to APF this year when you guys, came to the.
It's about
A couple of weeks ago.
$1,200.
Yeah, so that wasn't much. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna suggest that too, could also be part of, instead of giving it to an outside nonprofit, that we actually give it to a youth employment fund or a youth services fund within the city, but it's only $1,200, so.
Well, we can certainly discuss a rate increase this year, of course. Fits it. One of the things, of course, with this little handout that I showed you was that there was a study done across New York State called an Economic Environmental Impact Study. And we participated in at least our facility started participating back in January. So I brought our maintenance staff in and we answered all the questions and provided all the numbers that they were looking for. And it was enjoyable because at the Ryder Cup, at the PGA tent, the person who was responsible for putting all this data together was there and unveiled it all to us. So it was kind of a neat experience because there was PGA professionals from all across the country there. And this was highlighting New York specifically, saying that we're like the leaders in golf, one of the top states in golf for jobs, economic impact, et cetera. And it was really neat because Bethpage State Park was held. A Ryder Cup has never been held at a state-owned golf course before. That was the first time that ever happened.
Wow.
And it's owned by the state of New York. It's a municipality. And 25% of the facilities that are involved in this are municipality golf courses. So they provide a considerable amount of revenue, and a big portion of this is provided by municipals. So one of the things that municipals do is they provide accessible, affordable golf. So you got to tread that fine line because we are municipal. We don't want to raise the rates too high because that's what we pride ourselves in. But at the same time, listen, our expenses are not going to get any lower. We already know that. Everything's getting more expensive. The cost of doing things and cost of doing business is more expensive. So you have to they just get, everything's going up. I hate to say it, but that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
And so we've got to, I like the way, Mr. Farley's thinking. Maybe we should raise our rates so we're not working so hard to keep our heads just above water.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, I'm sorry.
No, continue.
Okay, I was thinking, you know, we made quite the investment, you know, of course, you know, with ARPA funds as well. And I think that this is like one of those ways, which I think was a wise one. So this is one of those ways to get, you know, a lot of people do a little, and then we can kind of, you know, we can get that line funded. And
Well, it's interesting because I think we've been a big leader in the community as far as that goes. So when we first did the GPS on our golf carts, all of a sudden, 4 or 5 other public golf courses in the area, what did they do? They got GPS on their golf carts because they see how successful we were. We did irrigation. Town of Colony just put like a $16 million renovation project into their golf course. I don't know where they got the money for that, but they have 2 18-hole golf courses. It's a huge project, but they're redoing the entire facility over. And I think the same irrigation company is doing their facility that did ours. But anyway, Freer Park in Troy, same thing. New irrigation, big renovation project, all municipal golf courses. Amsterdam Municipal just rebuilt a brand new clubhouse. I mean, so they're all doing renovations to their facilities in some regard. But it almost seems like we're like at the forefront. Like, what is Schenectady doing? What are they doing that they're able to finish in the black all the time? And Chris and I pride ourselves in not being a burden on the city. We never want to be a burden to the city. We self-sustain a lot of our projects and don't ask for funding. I mean, I think the history of being here shows that, wouldn't you say, Chris? Sure. So I hope that answers some of your questions. But if you get a chance to look at this, in the bottom right corner, it's kind of small, but it says NewYorkGolfImpact.org. And the study it's pretty impressive, the numbers they came up with. It shows everything from economic and environmental impacts and what golf courses are doing all across the state, from Buffalo to Malone down to Long Island. Water conservation, animal protection stuff. We're a part of the Audubon Society, which is important. We've been with them for a long time. But things like that. Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned self-sustaining. So how does the capital funding factor into your spending? Is that part and parcel of it, or capital is outside of your expenditure there?
And
Capital's outside of
Yes.
this operating.
So how is that factoring into your overall expenditure? Are you recovering this cost, or are you funding this cost? Because this is not funded. This is funding outside of your regular day-to-day operation.
The capital.
Yeah,
Right,
capital.
we pay for it out of the reserve.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying, so $375,000
yeah.
is not funded.
You're looking at capital.
Yes, I'm just cross-referencing, yes, that,
Surplus goes in a reserve account, then it's used to pay for the capital.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
It's gone golf.
that doesn't come out of the
Sounds
general fund.
is that part of that for $350 something thousand dollars?
No,
No,
That's
No,
going
it's a
to
separate-
the general fund to subsidize.
so that was, that's what I was talking about, this blank space here.
Yes.
So in 2024, we moved $160,000 into our 2013, we moved $213,000 in. So this year, we're hoping anything that we make from going out is gonna hopefully tick that number up. And that's what we use to pay for what's in the capital request.
So we don't have a number for 2025 that's yet,
We do not, because we get that number at the end of the year.
Here, see what the actual numbers are.
and that will be used toward the 2026 to offset the capital.
Correct.
Expenditure, okay, I just want to, go ahead.
Okay. Question to Mr. Farley's point. Absolutely, I mean, I don't know, you have a golf advisory committee and it brings, raises or, increase in fees to that every year and you talk it all through. So again, you want to maintain that line because a lot of people golf in all different, ages, groups, I see it there, all different people. So in, I guess, maybe 50 women that I golf with at Muni in different leagues, there's probably 2 of us that are residents. Most of them are non-residents. And they put up the biggest stake about the fees and paying, but they still come back, and there's really nowhere better to golf. So I just wanted to bring that out there. And that's a little play thing. You say sometimes they can be disgruntled, the golfers there, but a lot of non-residents golfing there, which we get more money from, which is fine. I guess another thing about youth is the fact that, during the day, they're in school a lot of times, they're doing things. So my suggestion would be we have these beautiful new tennis courts being put in where we don't charge any fees for it. So that's something we can start to discuss, a line of revenue on our tennis courts.
My understanding is is supposed to happen when the new courts go in. I don't know how that's been worked through at all, talked about it, but it would make sense.
It would.
Okay, so I know that part of our course, we have some partnerships, and there's some agreements in place in order for them to be, as fantastic as they're gonna be. But I was gonna say to Mr. Turrell's point, it seems like based on what the information we're getting now, we want to balance those tensions, and I can appreciate those, that we're not just saying, okay, let's make as much money as we can, and then we do close it out for people. But it seems like we're in one of those situations where we have one of those good problems where we have more interest that makes managing it complicated enough to where we have to, make sure that we're doing it in a way that we can because there's such a high interest. So if we have such a high interest, that seems like the ideal place to leverage that interest and cut a check to make sure our kids, have jobs.
Absolutely. But we have these tennis leagues. Yep.
We do have a pretty good pipeline right to Schenectady High School. In fact,
Yes.
5 of our hires this year came from Schenectady High.
Yeah.
And they worked out great. They were all fantastic kids.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sorry, comment.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. I'm just, and I know that you may have an opinion on this, but we're talking as friends and colleagues here. I will get the numbers together like you asked. It may be a large impact on honor, we'll present it. To your point about the tennis, I will say that it's a fantastic point, but it also made me think about other things in the park that are free, that draw a lot of people from outside the city.
You said it might be impact on what?
We put so much money into it outside of the $20,000 that are you talking about Music Haven? Yeah, well, we raise, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever to actually make the budget of Music Haven, and the city only contributes $20,000 to Music Haven.
But if
Probably
you were to
not.
actually charge the people,
I don't know
Oh, the intent.
how would we do that? They come in over the hill. I mean, they sit all over the hills, all over the.
People in the seats, we pay for the seat.
and we would,
Well,
you'd use a
we
snow
actually-
fence. You would
Yeah.
use a green snow fence and you would actually, and once again, you would say it's for a youth program. I'm just saying is if we're going down this road and we're trying to fund a youth program, and we're trying to do it, then we have to look at all the revenue ways.
Sure.
And I don't know.
I would just point out that, again, sorry to interrupt, but again, we have donors that purchase the seats, purchase the bricks, purchase all sorts of things. They sponsor the concerts. It's like I can't remember off the top of my head what the total budget is for Music Haven, but $20,000 of it is all that the city gives, and everything else is coming from things that they sell to people that come, all the food that people buy and the beverages that people buy, but mostly it's the fundraising, where if you look on the side of the stage, you can see that there's people, myself included, that have donated money to have the name up on the brick, but mostly because they value the what Music Haven brings to the park, especially in terms of diversity, in terms of the fact that it is this sort of multicultural experience, in terms of the music that comes. But I appreciate what you're saying, and I can get the specific figures on how much the the budget. I mean, I know that's one of my volunteer things is trying to help them raise money every year, because it's just, you know, if we had to actually pay for what happens in that, it would be, I can't remember exactly what it is, but I feel like it's like a couple $100,000, but do you remember? For Music Haven in terms of its total budget. I don't remember what it is actually, but that was, I mean, is it, I actually still had a couple of questions, but, I don't know, I hear what you're saying though, but,
Yeah, it was just because, you know, $50,000 is more attainable than $150,000 for the golf course. So if you were to go 50, 50, 50, and it's a park, you know, the parks generate the
Yeah.
money in excess for the program. It may be more attainable, but I was still.
charging stations at the golf course,
Prior,
I'm sorry?
prior to our installation of the two, we did not have it.
Okay, so the 2 charging stations that are now there, that's what you're charging all those 60
No,
carts?
those are.
Oh, that's what that's what.
Oh, you're talking about the electric.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how we charge those carts if we
No,
didn't
there's
have
two,
any.
there's two electrical, charging stations for vehicles
Okay,
in the parking lot.
Gotcha.
That was new this year.
separate charging station,
Yeah.
okay.
The
Electric.
I was like, how the heck are we?
all those chargers were in the car park, and that was massive. That was updated
Yes,
to handle the capacity for that.
okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I was like, how could we not have any charging station?
No, this is in the third year of that lease.
It's
And,
beautiful, by the way.
next year, we're actually gonna be bringing a new program to the course I forgot to mention called PGA Hope. It's everywhere, it's a military
Ah.
program.
Cool.
And both Jeff Mattice and myself are now certified. There's actually a training seminar you have to attend because you're dealing with individuals that, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder, loss of limbs. I had a gentleman who had no legs and one arm, and he's sitting in a specific wheelchair, and he learned how to play golf with one arm. And so it really kind of brings you back to reality when you see an individual like that and the joy it brings them. And they've felt that the PGA program has saved their lives.
So what we have here first are 2 fairway mowers. These are our large workhorse mowers that we do. The existing mowers we have are about 10 years old, so we're looking to replace both of those. The second thing, like it says, is a T mower. It's more specialty, smaller piece of equipment that we use for mowing our tees. The Ventrac with duals, that is a workhorse mower. It's a very unique mower that has sets of dual tires on the fronts and backs and a deck that is warm, rough top deck. And what we use that for are inclines and steep hillsides. It's just very stable, like a goat mower. It'll go around, very neat mower that we have. But we bought it 7 or 8 years ago used off of a contract, and now we were looking to replace it. The Verticut 3 points, those are actually, I think that is just another smaller mower, more hand mower, and then the units for the 33, those are actually just cutting units. They're just like razor blades that would go on to the mower. So you can buy those separate from the mower. And then the facility improvements, we're looking to replace the boiler. We did talk with Mr. Nietzsche, he's looking to operate the restaurant all year. Not full time, but all year, and we would like to make sure that the boiler operates. So we're getting quotes on that now, actually. We're also looking to do hallway improvements with that money. If you may or may not be aware, there is a hallway between where the female locker room used to be in our utility room. We would like to reopen that for the winter season so that patrons to the restaurant do not have to walk up the hill. They can walk through the hallway and up the stairway. We think that's the preferred path for visiting the restaurant in the winter months. And then Matt would like to purchase a new merchandise counter. The current counter was created by our in-house carpenters almost a decade ago. It is literally a glass bot with 2 podiums on either side that the carpenters made, and we'd like to have more of a professional front back counter for merchandise.
Are there any questions?
Yes, thank you. I thought that was proposed a few years ago. Your counter out there, and we didn't have funding for that, or
No, it was a little more than we thought. I think we only put like 5,000 in the budget,
Okay.
and ended up being closer to 10 or 15. So that's where we moved it out of operating. We moved it into capital. Technically, it's reserves, but yeah, it ended up being, it's essentially all custom.
And your merchandise is huge up there. I mean, do you get a lot of sales on the merchandise?
Yeah.
Especially
We've done a lot more this year than any year.
Okay.
But it's just like to Chris's point, it'll be much more professional looking. And just kind of fits with all the work that we've been doing out there.
Right. Absolutely. And how about, under your capital improvements, some work to the forward tee boxes?
The marketing figure and so forth.
More friendly.
More friendly.
Yeah, more, not in the line of the
Like
back
team
tee
up and
boxes.
smile at you or?
We could get the lightning bolts, like the Edison Club. Well, a few of the forward tee boxes placed more,
Closer to the hole.
Yes.
Did you say they're in line with the back ones?
Oh, yeah,
But isn't that?
on 9 and 18.
You mean being off to the side?
Yeah, so, you know,
Right.
a lot of people talk about the forward tee boxes being more, I would never want to say woman friendly, more senior friendly.
Kind of more centered.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a
I'm
good
just
point.
putting that out there,
Yep.
Are we gonna have to fund that?
yeah. I could probably put a collection up with the ladies, you know, of course,
We do need that.
they still think it's a man's sport, you know, and they still think Rooney is a old man's club. But today, for years, but it's
Yeah,
not
we have
under yours.
changed that
Yes,
quite a
it
bit.
is not under
That
yours.
was,
But there are some forward tee boxes that could use improvement. I put that in the capital.
sure,
Forward tees is the correct term.
I can definitely address that with our maintenance staff and see if they can.
Yeah, I'll
Something
email
together.
you some suggestions.
We are.
Yeah, that would be great.
We are renting, just to let you know, a project that I've been wanting to do, Matt, for over a decade, is what I call between goals 4 and 5. It is a dirt cart path in the middle of the hill that is no longer used, hasn't been used for 10 years, and our superintendent, we are running a mini bulldozer and we'll be covering it, fescuing it, and making sure the carts don't go in. And I really do think it's just one of those little things that when we do it, it's gonna make us just look every year just that little bit better. Because now when you're on the tee box for 5, next year when you look out, you won't be seeing this arbitrary road in the middle of what should be a fescue area. So, the golfers probably won't appreciate having that road, because when you go right, you can kind of drive on it, but, you know, keep your ball in fair.
And one more question, I don't know if I brought this forward last year or in one of your meetings, a shelter furthest from the course for lightning and things like
We
that.
did bring that up last
A lot
time.
of times it's hard to get in, especially if you're walking, so I just put that out there.
The lightning sensors are there,
Yeah,
so.
have you noticed those?
Oh, gosh, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't imagine, yeah, and they scream.
No, they're
No, we
sensors that were put on,
Yes.
part of the improvement, so
Wow.
that as a storm approaches, again,
How
people,
many miles out?
they shouldn't be at risk, so that they're given notice and should get off the course.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a lightning detection system that was included when we put the irrigation in. And they're in the corners of the golf course with more far-reaching areas. And if it's detected within a 5-mile radius, they go off. And so it alerts the golfers that there is lightning in the area, maybe not directly overhead, but in the area, and to be aware of it.
That's
So,
great.
so if the rain is not coming out the course, what do you do?
Well, somebody
People
comes
get
out to get them, yeah.
Yeah, we actually do, we'll take it to the storm coming, we actually make rounds out there, make sure everybody comes in, yeah. Yeah, because there are people like Tony Barber's husband, Tony Ward, he's sitting on a bench on the 14th hole under an umbrella. I go, Tony, what in the world are you doing out there? I had to drag him.
All right, any other question? Go ahead, please.
I do think it's important to know there are a number of residents in our community that do not golf. I'm one of them. It is not because I've never done it. It's partly because of the fact I think in my age, I think it'd be difficult to not be good at something. So I think it's out of pride that I did not golf. But sincerely, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Wallen, the projects that Mr. Toro will highlight, those would be ones that you would add to your list to identify pathways forward, correct?
Projects which these,
You know, you're talking specific to what,
Like the concepts that were presented tonight, those were all additional projects that you would have to weigh and levy as you manage your other.
yes, they're all under the umbrella.
Thank you. Bringing a point, I think it's important to make sure that we're balancing like the efforts of the city, and sincerely, I think this is all wrapping into the comment from Mr. Farley. I think if we're intentional with showing a little bit more, I think being considerate to the fact of don't break something that's not broken, and we have, or don't, it works, and it works well, due in part to the management and the support from the city. But sincerely, I imagine there's individuals listening at home that put $3 million in this park, in this golf course. Don't think it's a difficult thing to intentionally pull out a little bit more beyond what already is. And then the other comment I wanted to highlight is it's a discussion me and Ms. Porterfield often have of the concept or misconception of free. And I think that makes a lot of things difficult because there's always a cost. So I think I would balance that in a very not disenfranchised community, but we have a community with a lot of needs. And oftentimes we hear how some of the resources we have in the city are taken advantage of. So I think it's important to make sure we are intentionally adding those safety measures so there are specific considerations for the community with respect to the youth service line, but I think in other areas.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are there any more questions, comments?
Just one comment. Well, maybe two now, you responded like that, right? Nah. So,
Your call,
so
please.
I just want us, again, we can talk about this youth service line as a expense, but that would be not looking at it as an investment, the same way that we invest into the golf course and invest into our parks. There's an investment here. And that money, again, is some of the money that circulates in our community at a higher level than any other money is youth employment and youth services. And then to factor in our public safety money. So I just want to make sure that we're looking through that, through the right prism, if you will. That's all.
Are there any other comments, questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mike. You, Chris, thank you both for all that you guys are doing. Thank you. Keep up the good work. I will make there. Yep.
Hopefully the next also you get out. Just
Boys and Girls Club.
Thank you.
I don't, I.
So, we'll restart and we'll stay on capital funding and we'll go on to utilities and IT. Who is taking the lead? Please. Walk us through the equipment, purchase.
Sorry, so you want-
No, I'm talking about capital and.
Oh, capital.
Capital.
Page 91.
Page 91.
Alright, so the first thing I'd like to address is the sign fabrication upgrade. That comes with a new latex printer, laminator, and some vinyl to get us started for making signs. The way that we make signs right now, I don't know if you're all aware, we screen print, so you can get away with it for your typical road sign, but with any other sign where the text maybe gets a little bit smaller, it is a pain. So it would save time, money, material, effort, all that, and it would create a better looking sign in the long run. So I'm really a big advocate for this revolutionized way we make signs in my apartment. This one is the Smart Note upgrade.
No, you have truck. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You have it.
It is the upgrading of the 200 city IQ nodes that we currently have along State Street. So it's an antiquated piece of equipment for smart nodes. They don't give us the same speed, air quality, noise data that we get. I'm sure you're all familiar with that speed report that I put together. That would be that last piece, and it would be like the hole, filling the hole in the picture of the picture that we're painting for speed data. So it would be very important for us residents, just going forward in general to promote safety.
And you mentioned 200
200 CIQ notes to be replaced with the using the pinpoint notes, which is the most up-to-date smart note that ubiquitous that gives.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
So this is your under capital projects. Do we have one in like the smart city manager opening side? Is that anyway able to cover part of it? Because we put aside, I don't know where we are with it. But I know we put money aside, so I'm just wondering if any part of that, is something that could be sent here to the amount of remaining.
I don't believe so. We've exhausted those funds. We've actually gotten another grant from the Smart City Initiative to continue our efforts in Bellevue, but that's for further AP and fiber events. Nothing in relation to what I described there.
But this is a minute ago, a month, so because I've not seen the whole expenditure of all this. We've talked about it several times, but we've done it for how it's not going to Martin said.
Yeah, we did put that analysis together, Brian and I looked at it, like as he stated, majority of the funds are exhausted, so we need this funding source to get the smart upgrades.
And we have a listing of money and how it's spent it, because it's in the last couple budget cycles, I know it wasn't something that was included, so we had that, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
For how many years?
Um,
From the beginning to now?
I'm gonna say the past 3 years.
Commissioner, you mentioned the money is expended. Does that mean that the money is all spent? Or is it just that we have open purchase orders?
I would have to double check that, but I believe the majority, if not all, has been exhausted.
So, okay, so can you check and provide us a report to see if it's all, is there any outstanding POs?
Will do.
Any other questions before we go on to the next item? Go ahead.
That middle item, that's
Yeah, it's gonna place in
truck attachments.
truck attachment and
It's basically ease of use for a new spray that we got. We'll go on for the truck that we actually outlined right now. Just, upgrade our process.
any other questions? Go ahead, please.
So the smart node upgrade that will coincide with the grant that we just got. How does those things work to each other?
So we will have more APs that we'll be putting up in Bellevue as part of that smart city initiative.
Okay.
The grant that we just got. This will be APs or access points, so like,
Mhm.
you know, a big router basically, just to get internet. These smart nodes will be a data point for the city to use, gather speed, sound quality,
Sure.
noise data, so it's different, but. you know,
Related, but not, okay.
Right.
So, the grant, could you just be specific about the grant? Are you talking about the 1.6 million now?
Correct.
And so that's separate and apart from what we have here and can't be used for this. Thank you.
Are there any other questions, please?
So that is from the Connect All Estate grant, and that is more focused on the mobile devices or something signals we have around the area to boost those things. So that is the, like the main functionality of that grant.
Are there any other question on the capital funding? Saying none, thank you for the capital review. So we will go to page 24, utilities administration. Commissioner?
Total administration increased by 3.0%, approximately $5,000 increase.
Just want to give us a highlight what's happening in the utility admin.
Increasing. There, carried over. I think with everything from P24 from last year's budget. One thing I did want to bring up, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but with the painters, I'm sorry, yeah, I gotta get that. No, everything's pretty much.
Yeah, let's stay with the utility administration and then we'll go into the next department. Any questions on the utility administration?
These are just step and regular raises for the IPS 3 and signal superintendent, those are just basically basic steps.
Correct.
Any other questions?
Yes. And who's the stipend for? Thank you.
I do want to make a small note, and I apologize for even saying this, just reviewing my numbers. I was revising, the one that I made here, about 404 fees for services, 6,500. 7,000 would be great, but again, that's not acceptable, I accept that, but that's my one request.
So are you saying, so it's 6,500, you're asking for more?
500 more to 7,000?
Okay, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move to page 35, and that is utility sign maintenance.
I do have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Oh,
Sorry. So for the travel conferences, I see that you're lower that line. There's no time that you ever travel, I mean, because the IT business is like ever changing. So there's no ever, any time that you're ever, I noticed you lowered the travel expenses for that, to go into conferences. Is there a particular, I saw that 24, there wasn't a lot spent, but in 23 there was.
So I just went to my first conference. That's probably going to be the one that I go to unless there's something else that comes about. So I budgeted just enough to cover that one conference, which is honestly not a lot. So that's where I felt comfortable cutting right there.
Okay, and that was a local conference?
Utica.
Okay, so is it generally local? Because my concern is that if we're talking about, when you then have to fly to a conference, then that becomes a little bit more expensive, but is it generally local?
It's the only one I was aware of. I need to ask John and see if there's any other ones out there that possibly could require some travel, but he did not allude to it, so I wouldn't imagine that there is one out there. Safe and the cut that I made there, yeah, I believe.
Okay. Thank you.
any other question? So we'll move to page 36, 35 to page 36. And that is utility sign maintenance.
Side maintenance decreased by 1.66%, now $53,000.
I looked through the rest, the bills for painters,
Hmm.
dropped by one. Should be three, I missed that on my part. It was budgeted, so what happened was, there's a cleaner that is currently still transitioning to be a painter in the crew. Kind of led to the mishap there, but I believe he was budgeted for on the facility side of things as a cleaner. Would, able to,
So there needs to be a movement, an adjustment here from being a cleaner back into the painter. Commissioner, you making notes?
It's already over.
Okay. Go ahead, please. Well,
Oh, is the cleaner, then whose budget is that in, the cleaner?
Facilities.
Oh,
They have 6 cleaners bills currently. When they sell one of those 6 bills,
okay, thank you. So this would stay at the two.
No,
Here.
3.
sorry.
Oh, we just shifted from facilities would go down.
no, because they're saying they want to keep
That's
it.
what he's saying. They,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
let me say it.
So the cleaner moved or is in the process of moving to the painter position. They have currently 2 fills, 2 individuals in this department. And this will make it was usually a position, that's why it was removed, but this individual has moved in, I think it was at the end of September.
It's officially still going through civil service at the moment, so it's not quite official, which is why it's like limbo at the moment.
How much, but you also said that they still want to stay with 6 cleaners. So does that mean that there would be a vacancy in a clean, the position would be there, but,
There would be a vacancy once the transition completed.
okay. And so what would that increase this budget by?
Yeah.
This now,
This painter,
the other painter.
maybe only less than 60,000, so additional like 55,000. Look here.
55 plus benefits.
Let's see. So that'll bring it up to approximately 170.
So would the painter make the same, same salary that they're making as a cleaner currently? Is that-
No, it's an increase. So,
Thank you.
Just from there.
Oh, so, please go ahead.
Now that you'd be, excuse me, knowledgeable with operations in other areas or departments, but with respect to waste removal and how they use like MEOs, how interchangeable are painters? Like, is that a position where right here you have painter and sign maintenance, that's the A3310-110. And there's also a painter and property management, which is A1621-121. Is there any interchangeability?
I'd say so.
Are there any other questions for the section? Sign maintenance. Seeing none, we'll move to the next page, utilities, traffic. Commissioner?
yes. That increased by 34.5%, approximately 144,000.
I'm sorry, what page is that, John? I'm sorry.
37.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Anything you need to highlight here?
Sorry, that we have 2 line workers currently, and down the line, we have 3, but that's, future talk. Right now, as this budget, this is correct. Just something to prepare for in the future. These 2 gentlemen are towards the end of their, working careers, and ideally, that's some weight in the wings to learn, but it might be a cross-training sort of situation, so 3 should be the number that we look to have in the future, but for now, it's maybe 2 as we cross-train. Yes.
So you have the, in 25, the adopted budget was 2. Were both of those positions filled?
We had the supervising line worker recently retire.
So you moved one of the line workers to the supervisor position?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move to page 51. To the bottom, free lighting.
Street lighting includes 5.15%, approximately 3,600.
And with anything from there? Street lighting, that has to do with administrative expense like power and gas.
Yeah, on the administrative expense, 402, yeah, so that's for the, UPS services, which we have, in Defend Jones and the service fees, so I think, they're increasing a little bit, in their, annual maintenance fee. So that's, a little bit higher than that. Other expenses, as one is, the annual maintenance, they're increasing from the data part.
So you're saying that the light, power, and gas is an increased cost?
The light, bulb, gas, I think that's that is not.
Yeah, going from 402.
You can't hear it.
Oh no, we're just asking about the light, power, and gas in terms of the numbers. And does that cover any smart city program under this light, power, and gas?
I don't believe so. No, it doesn't.
No, white power and gas, that's strictly, I believe, national grid.
That's the way. Oh,
And then we're at 1.3 million year to date as of September.
okay. Are there any other, oh, sorry.
So 1.3 million now, you think that's enough budgeted for, with the increases, I mean, we're personally facing at home, I'm sure you work these numbers out, but you think that's enough to get us through next year?
I think so.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
I'm sorry, I think I must have missed this flipping, but, what's in the administrative expense there?
Yeah, so the 402 is the annual maintenance cost, which we have to pay to BPM for all the notes we talked about, so like 200 is
smart notes?
upgrading to that, but we have like 700 notes total.
750, yeah, 725.
725. On that, they charge the data on that.
Wow.
So they're increasing, actually, they're increasing like, I don't know, like 57 grand or something. Yeah, so that's the data portion they're increasing.
Is that why we saw that huge jump from 2024 to 2025?
Yeah, 2025, not much, but 2026 is.
57, that's what you mentioned, 57,000 increase.
Yeah,
And that's going directly to the service provider.
yeah,
For this note.
service provider. And we spoke to the service provider and tried to negotiate with them. It brought the cost down, that's why you see this number, this was like almost like 90 grand before. So. We spoke with them and tried to bring the cost down.
Any other questions for this department? Seeing none, thank you so much. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Ron. All the way, it was a good work. Okay.
Thank you.
We are gonna go to page 61. Let's start with. Right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we can be
Crazy.
quiet.
Yeah. It's pretty darn good.
Commissioner?
Okay, the development, page 61, increased by 0.58%, approximately 3,100 increase.
So walk us through the development administration, to the staffing, was trying to run the fence. We need to discuss with us.
So for the salaries, all of these positions are currently, with the exception of our principal planner, who recently resigned. You want me to go line by line?
No, that's,
Okay.
no,
So,
that's whatever we do.
Okay.
Like to highlight, we don't need to.
one question, that I need to mention is the number for overtime for the admin salaries went down to 500. And we have to be able, even though I do encourage my team to do comp time, we really need a line item there because if they choose to, especially with missing the principal planner right now, would like to be able to have that option if they work over. Now, they do really well with doing that with company time, but I think 500 is pretty much zero when I have 2 people managing my plan.
Oh, please, go ahead. Oh,
So
yes.
overtime, is that like so in the other departments, we like, there's like a stipend for the overtime, right? So
There's, I
that
don't have
just-
to stipend.
It's not just overtime, it's
Pure overtime, most likely.
oh, for the contractual people, they say, oh, okay.
Planning commission, zoning board.
So that $500 that is in the budget is supposed to go for the 3 current people on staff that they choose to do overtime attending their commission.
Mr. Mayor, does that really cover that? Or the first time?
No, but like I said, most of the time they are okay with doing comp time, but I would like it to remain the remaining 1,000 just in case something occurs and they're on, comp time doesn't work for them, like that.
I have another part of my question as well. So I noticed that other department heads have stipends, but I don't see any stipend, in your department.
Originally, we did submit for stipend, which was for Sarah for, 7,000, which would be for 2, employees to do so like 3,500 a piece, but that didn't make it to the final budget.
Can I understand, is there a reason that certain departments aren't, stipends aren't considered?
I think most department heads that receive it are commissioners for the most part. I mean, there's the big ones that have it if they're on call, like, for example, discuss the IT department, he's on call 24/7, reaching out, he's on emails and he always, you can reach out to him at any point in time and you answer a call, text, email.
So it's only for department heads on call essentially?
Yes, most of them.
It's for really, emergency after bounces.
Any other, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I thought that we had, maybe I should just go back and look, I thought we had one, a stipend. Double check, what I say? One part I can't find right now, but I thought there was the fact that the position I'm thinking about would not be calling people in over time, but let me look for it in my finding, I will come back.
Go ahead, please.
Just a comment, conceivably, if the principal planner position isn't hired right away, could a substantial or a portion of that salary be moved to a line which would be overtime? I mean, having the salary, I mean, it could potentially use some of that money, the data grade pay or overtime, depending that position is developed.
And then, go ahead, please.
So I guess this is a little bit more clarification for what Mr. Williams is asking. Right now, that position isn't filled. Without that position being filled, how does that impact other people within your department to fill?
Well, right now, I'm the principal planner. But we have an amazing team. It does, add to the workload of my planner one and my assistant planner, which both have stepped up, to do additional things as we transition with the loss of Christine. But right now, I am the decision maker. Not that I wasn't before, but I had an in-between management staff, but I'm the decision maker.
More hands-on approach, yeah, good. Go ahead, please.
In hiring the, new principal planner, would you have to bring that person in at this salary, or is that just because of, that person was there for so long and
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that depends on the level of experience. If we have somebody that has 25 years experience that we bring it on, I think that would be equivalent to what we lost in our previous planner.
Okey dokey.
These are technical positions, it's hard to get them filled
Yes.
without them ultimately. I'm speaking on the private sector position. Any other questions for this section? Anything else you'd like to highlight to us before we move forward? And you have these historicals, that is really bad.
I actually proposed that drop based on what we spent last year. So in there is like our arborist, our consultant for the tree program. So I made that decision to drop it because the reality is we didn't need that much money.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll move to page 62, Community Development Commission.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Sir.
Okay. Please.
So again, this training line,
Yep.
where that went down to 1,000. I just want to reiterate that this is training that has to be offered to the planners and all three of the commissioners. So $1,000 is not going to cut it. We have to be able, it is written, we have to be able to offer that training. And if I want to continue to have best in class as far as planners, especially with the losing somebody that's been in this role for 25 hours, I need to 25 years.
25 years.
I was gonna say,
25
you're getting a
years.
bargain.
25 years, sorry.
Oh,
I need to be able to offer them training. If I want the best in class, they need an opportunity to go to training. And that line covers when city council goes to the planning conference that usually happens every year. When we offer it to you, for those who do attend in Saratoga, because my department offers it to you every year.
Yeah.
But $1,000 is not enough.
So I just have a question for me.
yes, you are.
Oh, I just have a question. So this is your proposed budget, right? So the 500 for overtime, why didn't you put 1,000 in? And why
I
didn't
did
you?
put 1,000, this isn't my proposed budget, did not make it to the final budget.
Oh, okay.
So those are the things that, some things got cut and I'm fine with, but I'm highlighting the things that it's beneficial that it
Right,
does
that
stay
will
or
increase.
increase.
Okay.
Ms. Patrick, and you had your hand up? Or-
I don't think so.
Oh,
Oh, I was just gonna ask if, when you said that they have to have the training, are they mandatory training?
Then for the commissioners, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, they are.
Go ahead, please.
So I just wanted to point out the fact that you took out 15,000 on your fees for services. And you're just asking us to restore the mandatory training back, another 1,500,
Yes.
and the overtime.
2,000. I asked for 3,000 in that line.
You asked for 3,000, okay.
Training,
Mm-hmm.
also two.
For the 150,000. And you're asking for the overtime to be back up to 1,000?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, sorry. We'll move to community development. You didn't tell me, and we'll take it.
Oh, sorry. I'm ready, Terry. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
That's all right.
You here without a stipend, you got.
Community development increased by 0.62%, approximately $3,000 increase.
Okay, there's nothing like any change anything you need to know.
All positions, I'm happy, all positions except for the new city assistant position is full. I'm happy to report that. This year, we operated with very short staff in the community development. We filled Sylvia's position, which was empty, a year and a half for program monitor. And we had 6 months without a program accounts clerk. So I'm happy to say that those two positions are full. The CD assistant position isn't full because there's a portion that got missed with civil service that Katie is working on. There was something, can't think of the correct verbiage, but why I can't hire, when I went to go hire somebody, it hadn't gone through the full process with the county.
And which position is that?
CD assistant.
Community development
assistant. New as, it was there when I got here in the budget.
Go ahead.
Was there a person in it when you got?
No, it was a new position that I was looking to fill that my predecessor had got approval for. But there was something on our end that didn't happen.
I understand, but so in other words, you've been able to operate without the CD assistant?
Barely.
Okay.
Which is why we have a part-time, we had 2 part-time people, consultants pretty much help, hurting and helping us.
Okay.
And are you saying that those people are no longer there? The 2 part-time?
1 part-time is no longer there.
1 part-time. I do have a further question about the, under the line 86, 87, the program account for, I see that it went down, is that a new person in that position?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So going back to the part-time was this to help pick up the workload for these positions that was not filled, is that correct statement? So since all these positions are filled up, would you be downsizing the part-time line?
Well, that is 1 person.
Well, there's somebody in it?
There's somebody in it. It used to be 2, but it's still, that is 1 person.
The last year budget, 54,000, this year proposed 54. For 1 person,
This year proposed 50.
50,000, sorry, last year 54.
Just let me do the math.
Mhm.
A second, sorry.
No, this it was 2025, it was 54,000 for 2 part-time.
So at her hourly rate at $20, at 20 hours a week is over that, is 52,000, she makes $50 an hour.
So do you still need a part-time position?
Yes, that position manages a very important role, that position manages home.
Oh.
So our home projects.
Definitely. Anything else? Go ahead.
Community development equipment. Nothing proposed for this year was $4,000.
Yeah, big minimum, most anything that we need for community development is reimbursable through CDBG, so it doesn't impact our general funds.
Thank you.
Questions?
That just moved, you said most of it is reimbursable through, how much money is reimbursable coming out of your department for the, like the feds, like?
Well, we have, each year we have our CDBG, EHG and home funds, so that's roughly 3.1 million, that's all reimbursable. So each year is roughly in salaries from each one, and I'm just thinking this might not be all the way accurate, but 234,000 in salaries from CDBG, I believe, is on our admin line. 100,000 for home. Those are the community development, those roles are fully reimbursed.
Might be good information to have.
I don't know those numbers, offhand.
You just step up.
Would you like to follow up?
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
I was just thinking we might wanna look at that.
You wanna follow up with a question?
Yeah, I'll be there,
Just make it up already, just give it right away.
And I was just saying, maybe we need to look at, like, I'd like to see those numbers that we're talking about, that's all, as reimbursement.
Can we make note of that, please?
Thank you.
Our annual action plan that we publish each year, it'll list out what we put towards admin. And admin is salaries in additional funds, so it is public information.
Under this section area, you have $5,000 set aside for overtime.
Yes. The same as if that I asked for before, we have CSCA, people there.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
But, I mean, that's only $5,000, so not equipment, but we haven't spent any of it yet, year to date.
Yeah. Because the team is doing comp. You know, they're coming in late, staying late, they're flexing in the same day. So if they know they have to be here for a meeting, they're coming in later, you know, that day. Which doesn't always work, because we got work to do. That's not always the best option.
So how do you track these comp times?
We have a timesheet that they put every day, that they sign every day.
That fine, or just?
No, it's manual. So you sign in when you come in, you sign out when you go home.
Okay, are there any other questions? Are there any other things you would like to highlight for us, what's happening in the department? Maybe,
Yes, this is,
tell us some good things.
yeah, there's been a lot of good things. This year we really focused on implementing all the changes that we did in 2024 as far as our process and procedures. Cause I could remember coming to you saying, we're doing this, we're doing that, and this year, the team really worked to do that, to be efficient. We're on track to expend almost $2.8 million into the community through our nonprofits, which is wonderful. We get 3-point-something million, and this year we are on track, we've spent that money's been in the community, our community sub-recipients are spending those funds, so those likely that need it are getting the services that they want, so that's something that I'm extremely proud of. Yes, we have some stragglers, but that's okay. So we really focused on that. I'm proud of the work that we did with being short-staffed in community development. This year we focused a lot on one-on-one technical assistance with our subrecipient, and that shows they're able to spend the money. We're not gonna close out this year. When I say this year, I'm talking about our federal year for community development, which ended on 9/30. So we're not gonna close out with as much money still on the table as we have in previous years. But we are working, and it's an exciting time for my department, considering we're almost fully staffed. We've closed out phase one of our comprehensive plan for anyone who went to our last community meeting, so we've heard a lot of feedback over the last 12 months from the neighborhoods, and we've been able to aggregate that data to really push out what our overall vision, the goal is for this city. So we're looking forward to phase two, and I think that right there with the spending and the comp plan is the priorities of the department. We've been able to strengthen all of our relationships with our stakeholders, working closely with Metroplex and the other developers in the city. We're making sure that we are giving the support and they're giving us support that we need to push some of these projects through, and some of those projects will be our YWCA project, our the SCAP project that's happening. So just really proud of the overall work of my team.
Talk about the LED program.
The LED program, October 1st, we fully transitioned our county LED program. And we've already made significant changes. We've already identified some weaknesses in the program, and again, addressing the policies and procedures and making sure that we can get this information out to the people. So we've rebranded it, logos, flyers. We have some projects that are in line that we'll be using some of our CDBG dollars for. One of them is to get a lead hazard children's safety van. It's an outreach van. We hope, we're still fleshing this out, but our hope is to partner with our local hospital, have nurses on the van, going into the communities, doing lead testing. So in an effort to meet people where they are. Sometimes people don't wanna come and sign up for programs, and landlords can't get all of the information from tenants to actually take advantage of this program. So we have that going on too, and we're excited about that.
So are you gonna do some outreach to neighborhood association to kind of have people buy into this program?
Yes, and I'm glad that you said outreach. I have something that an ask of the council. We talk about in these neighborhood meetings, a lot of times, neighborhoods and community members are saying, we don't know that this is available. I'm leaning on council to share this information with your constituents. The city cannot do it without you. We're putting it in paper, we're sharing it on social media. We need the council to share the information with the constituents. It is very disappointing when you have people in the community that say, we don't know this fund exists, or we don't know that it applies, when we all have representation right now on the council. So I'm gonna be leaning on it this year to really push this information out there to the people that you serve. So yes, we will be doing that.
We have the funding there, so we just need to help you
Help
and
get the
your
information
office
out.
to
Yes.
get that information out so people can tap into the funding. The other question I want to ask in terms of working with the BCNI and Habitat for Humanity in terms of spending the reallocation that we provide to them every year, how is that relationship? Working with them to make sure they utilize all the allocation on a timely basis.
We are giving technical assistance. Just because we get technical assistance doesn't mean that they follow the technical assistance and spend the money down. But the city is doing their community development is doing their part. We have been meeting one-on-one. We've recently started coordination meetings with BCNI, so to ensure that they have the support to move the project. We have a meeting, if they bring something up and we need to bring in other department heads to sit that meeting to help them, they have that option to do that. So that's new. We recently started out. We've met with one-on-one with every sub-recipient, so.
Please go ahead.
So I'd just like to circle back to the ban that you talked about, because that really sounds like a good thing to be on the community. So you currently, how are you what was the funding source, CDBG?
CDBG.
So that's not something we would have to look at for.
No, it's not a capital.
Okay, you would just purchase it and all the money would come from CDBG. And you have a anticipation on when that's gonna happen?
I don't, I had put it in for a capital project, but after talking, to the commissioners, like, it is an eligible expense for CDBG, so let's shift, considering we already have a deficit, because I don't want y'all yelling at me for trying to get a van.
So Ms. Carver's earlier point, multiple times brought up the fact that what we can do. I've spoken with communications team within our school district, and we have things like this program that, you know, the school district has a large reach and has a lot of ways to communicate with families. always willing to do that. All we have to do is just send it over saying this is the information, put it on their, all their electrical, electronic, interfaces, if you will. And I'm sure if we were to do our own printing, that they would, be willing to distribute it that way as well. So again, it's just a resource that we should just do. The approval from Dr. Cole has already been into to help out things like that.
And they have actually with the comprehensive plan and winning every kid's book bag neighborhood meetings, schools, put it on social media. So that part, we have strengthened that partnership and we have utilized them as a resource already.
Go ahead, please.
I just want to ask in terms of the CDBG SNAP neighborhood revitalization money, which it's zero for 2026. Is that because did it shift to another one of these lines, or is it that just that we got a cut from the federal government?
No, it's not a cut. The SNAP program hasn't expended money from that line in 3 years. So we took that money and put it in the development line so that we can have more control over people, contractors going out and cleaning city-owned properties. We've met with the team downstairs and they have a capacity issue. So in an effort to address and getting these homes, stressing with our homes initiative, getting these homes cleaned up, making sure that they're safe to enter for our realtors, we took that and made it put it on a development line.
Okay, and then my other question was, so speaking of homes, so we've put into the budget trying to bring in 4.5 million. To date, we've brought in 1.5 million. With only a few months left, and I was just wondering, how we're going to try to achieve
I
another
think
$3 million.
the bulk of that money is from the Schenectady 40 project, which is held up in litigation right now, so that transferred over from last year to this year.
So it's not direct sales of city-owned property like what we talk about in property management committee. That's not what that revenue
Well,
is.
that is city-owned.
City-owned property working on the other one is at $500,000 sale, town of Rotterdam. Rotterdam put in a moratorium, which they have now lifted, but potential for, there's gonna be a solar site there.
Yes.
So
Okay.
there's a couple of big transactions out there that would bring that number up. Is it still gonna happen in 25? I hope so, but I can't guarantee it. It's more apt going to 26, so we have a little bit of deficit here. It'll show up the numbers for 26.
Okay, thank you.
Well, talking about wholesale, we are currently, property management is is meeting once per month. Is there any consideration to kind of put that back 2 times per month so that we can be more aggressive to achieve a better number into next year?
If we need that, I'm more than happy to shift the staff to do that.
But you think, in my opinion, I don't think moving twice a month is gonna make it more.
No, I'm looking at it in terms of the law department, in terms of having the approval, the closing, all those things. Because it kind of dragged out, like meeting once a month, and how do we approve it once a month? Then it goes, so we're looking at the closing, it's kind of spread out. Several
This is
months.
just me advocating for myself. I see the work that Maurice puts into this process. And the time that it takes to get all of these things together, the time it takes to collect all of the supporting documents and put that analysis together for the PNC. I think that it helps him to come to you with more complete, right? Versus him coming to you and then having to say, this still, owes X, Y, and Z, documents, but whatever you decide, my team will make that adjustment. But I don't think you've given it a chance. We've only been meeting a couple of months, once a month. So we really haven't.
It feels like we meet more than once a month, but I guess, yeah, it is.
And that's fairly new, so that is.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it on a first standpoint in terms of moving more aggressively towards closing. so that we can achieve the numbers. Any other question? I mean, you touched on all the department, but you did not touch on ARPA. And you and your staff spend significant, I would say significant amount of time and energy, all of the above, to achieve those results in terms of allocation, in terms of tracking. I will give you the opportunity to please highlight the good
ARPA
things what your staff
And
have
bad
done.
thing, oh,
No,
just the good
Good
things,
things.
just the good things, okay,
What
we
your
are
staff
at
did.
about 85% spent down when I think of ARPA. Now, the couple that are still need to spend our large amounts. But most of them are, with the exception of a couple, we know where they are major development projects, but the rest of them, 30,000, 40,000, they're gonna be able to spend, you still got, so next year to spend money, so. Mitch has done a tremendous job working with the sub-recipients and making sure that the city is aligned with our environmental review. That had become an issue. The US, how we would typically do an environmental review, the US training requires something different. My team has really stepped up and made sure that our sub-recipients are compliant.
Okay, please.
Since you mentioned ARPA, I think the allocations, as was presented by the council, is often coming under fire and scrutiny. Similar to the CDBG funding, is there any way to quantify its community impact?
Well, we do, we collect the data, so we do know how many people it serves, where those people live, what are the ages, so there isn't a gap as far as reporting. I will share that information with you now.
With respect to ARPA?
We collect the same information. We get quarterly reports from every sub-recipient.
I think that would be valuable to substantiate the reason why I individually and others voted in favor of that for certain allocations.
Certain ones, there are some, in full transparency, there are some sub-recipients that are struggling. They are struggling. Some of them don't have the capacity for the amount of money that was allocated to them. And we're seeing that, even though we're supporting them and trying to give that technical assistance to them, they're struggling. And I'm just being honest.
There's still time.
Yeah, there's still time.
But do you,
But time is of the essence.
the ones that are struggling, do you, in your own professional capacity, do you feel that they're gonna achieve it at the end of the
There
Next year.
are two that I need to speak with Commission about that we have major concerns.
So on that note, again, just because we're struggling to try to figure out how we're gonna bring back some money and be able to try to reduce a tax, is any of that money that might be able to be reallocated to other projects, like, for example, youth services?
I went and see why not.
We just would have to do it we'd have to reallocate it before December.
And I don't think you can reallocate it this time.
Because-
It
Well,
would
that's
have,
what I was wondering,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, so we can't use it. How would we, in other words, if there were, I'm making this up, but if XYZ organization wasn't able to spend the money that we allocated to them, we just lose it?
I wouldn't say we lose it. I think there may be some creative ways if we use the money for the same intention, but maybe not.
Well, that might be a place to be able to have some money for youth services.
Can you,
If the project was youth services, but the two projects are not youth services, so that.
Oh, that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking,
yeah,
yeah, so they can't just
So
go.
it has to
okay.
be like, it has to be in kind.
Gotcha.
We got new service money, golf course.
I did hear that,
Well, I'm gonna have to.
you
run
were
off
trying
and
to get some
just
money
have
for
it
youth
run.
services somewhere in your department.
Not trying, there's an opportunity, Councilwoman, that we possibly could use. Right now, we're closing out our federal year, so there will be some money that hasn't been spent. And there may be some money that could be allocated.
Thank you, the mayor had mentioned that. There were
so going back to the ARPA and those two agencies that are struggling, is there any way you can share that information, more in-depth information, so the council And we can able to see where we stand in terms of that, and if we need to make adjustment or to do anything outside of that, so that we don't lose that money, or we need to ramp up effort to help them to, be more aggressive. If that's something that we can get on board to help you with.
So, Mr. Motivare, Ms. Hart and I have spoken, so she plans on bringing that forward to.
I will respectfully, I'm gonna make sure that I connect with Commissioner first,
Okay.
and then I will be.
Yeah, okay. That's nice. Okay, those are information that will be beneficial to us, to you, for us to help you if we can. Because we hate to see the money just disappear. And if we can be allocated to something that kind of fits the need in another project, we can. Any other question? Dave, I had to put you in, spot. But I wanna highlight, you had so much of additional work with the ARPA allocation and the tracking every single thing, and constantly meeting with us almost every week, every 2 weeks, to highlight us, to give us updates, things like that, and I do really appreciate that. I'm sure my colleagues will appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of funding, but making sure that you'll be on top of all that, that 52 point something $million. So
Thank
you
you.
did it well.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Did it without a stipend.
Yeah, oh, you did it on the stipend.
Thank you for your support this year.
Are there any other questions from the Carver? Say no, thank you, and thank you your staff for what they are doing. Keep up the good work.
Thanks so much.
All right. So we have come to the end. You say, oh, the last part is there. Did we review your
Yes.
department?
Yep.
The other night.
Yeah, I'm just joking. So, we've come to the end of the review. We'll just note, I know there's a lot of questions being pushed around. Are you getting answers to all the questions then? If you're not, please reach out, copy the mail, copy Derek. And we will make sure that you receive answers to the many questions that is in circulation. Please, if you're sending email and you're not getting it, just pick up the phone and call, because sometimes the email gets disappear, so can you pick up the phone and call and try to get your questions answered. Our next meeting is this Friday, 5:30. More than likely, I will ask you to clear up your calendar in next week. I would like to add another day more as reserve. So I will do that this Friday. So I ask you to look at your calendar and please.
Can we tell you now what, in case there is, if anybody
If you
has a
can,
conflict?
yes, but I will still give you more time, in your capacity, private capacity to do it. But
Tuesdays
if you
also,
can, you can let me know.
Wednesday.
And Ms. Michael, I will have to put out a public notice, and this is more a placeholder, so that, we're here to be serious in terms of, as we get to the final conclusion, let us make ourselves available, and have a meaningful dialogue, a meaningful opportunity to be flexible and to also achieve a budget, hopefully before the end of next weekend.
So, just to be clear, we're still having Monday after. the
Yes,
committee meeting.
we're still, but I just wanna, put a placeholder in case we cannot conclude by Monday evening.
I have
So-
3 nights next week that I could add in.
Go ahead, please.
Then I have a couple of questions, so, and these are probably, for the commissioner. And so just if you, could just, when we get ready to, when we start the deliberation, just explain to the council what our fund balance policy is, and also, what it would mean in terms of, going past that, what that entails. So if those are the 2 things that, if you could address, if we begin our deliberations on Friday.
Are those questions, or are you need in terms of the presentation of that?
Well, you can answer the question, I mean, if it was, it's up to him how he does it with the presentation, but we definitely, what our fund balance policy is. And also what it entails in terms of what we're talking about
Okay.
exceeding the tax cap.
No, I wanna make sure that maybe when we capture whatever you're asking. So, Commissioner, you make a note of that, please. So if you don't mind, look at your calendar now, or if not, you can look down.
Do you want me to email you or write it down?
Yeah, you can write it down and give it to me, so we can put a, just get it out there and be on the safe side, so that we don't have to delay, in getting, on a meeting, so.
Oh, no, when?
Thanks. Somebody can get that, please.
I was just gonna say a point of, reflection and recommendation. What I really appreciated when we had the conversations around the housing task force, because I think it was a policy suggestion. Where we had everyone just highlight who the topics were, and then we vote for alignment. I think with having condensed meetings, I think if we're intentional, we can achieve our objective in 2 days or 2 nights. I think the respectful ask would be, I think if people come into Friday with maybe a written or pre-provided list sent to Sam, I think that would help us align the areas of agreement. And then that would make that discussion more productive. I found in the past, they can be circular, and I think we all are mostly trying for the right reasons. But I would hate for the meeting to get away from us with us just having so few on the books so far.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, so, members, we can look at the revenue, come up with any suggestion, please document it so that we can go through, look at the expenditure lines and from the departments and come up with your suggestion for Friday. And we can start that discussion Friday, Monday. Thank you for that, Mr. Williams. Yeah, because without not having clear paths, and it's not feasible. So thank you for highlighting that. So yes, please sit down. You got some homework to do. Come up with your suggestion. Come up with some recommendation, and let's start discussion across the board. And as I mentioned, revenue and expenditure, both categories. So, do you want to give me your availability the next week, and I can able to do something, or you just want to sit on it for a day and get back to me? That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
What is there? No Thursday or Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday I can do. Well, Monday we're already scheduled.
Yes, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, you're available.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just do like a doodle poll? A doodle poll?
We're just
Doodle
telling.
and.
Well, the point of the doodle poll is because if we're all saying it, this day, that day, but if we fill it in, then it will let us know where everyone's free. So that's a suggestion.
Yeah, just a matter of 2 days, just a resort, 2 days or 1 day. Because I would like, the reason why we meet last Wednesday and this Wednesday is because I wanted all council members to be at the meeting. I did not want to set the meeting with one of us missing, because we're only 6 of us, and it will not be beneficial. Because we couldn't meet earlier, but there were 1 missing, and I don't feel that was meant to. So I ask for your support the next week to sacrifice a day or 2 more. All right, anything else before? Please. And Commissioner, if you have any question, please provide the answer to the members. So that way we're not waiting until Friday. I have a couple I will follow up with you tomorrow.
Any emails with any questions I did not answer. So I think to take care of them.
And please, if you're sending question, copy myself, copy and the mayor, copy Sam, so that we can able to track it. Because Sam does a print out to make sure that those questions are being answered. If you don't do that, then we can't track it. All right, anything else? So I ask a motion to recess.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
You look fine, someone. Yeah, I'm walking up to